One a live stream shows a trial tournament in the Tower of God. The boss has only half its health left after an incredible skill combo. Someone tells everyone to quiet down because you cannot distract Subai during this intense boss fight. Like a true professional gamer, Subai has perfect control over his keyboard and mouse, but the chat panics as his health drops to 10%. Still, he fights on, relentlessly landing heavy strikes with his sword. The boss laughs and taunts him. Does this intruder really think he can win? The hero declares that even if gods stand in his way, he will tear them down. Today, he is putting an end to this monster. He unleashes his unique skill and lands a devastating sword strike. The gameplay is so incredibly intense that every single viewer holds their breath. Thanks to this insanely aggressive play, Subai successfully clears the 999th floor of the Tower of God. The entire stream erupts. Has someone actually cleared this impossible floor of the Tower of God? Who could actually take down the final boss? This guy is just unreal. Subai genuinely believes he is now number one, being the only player to manage this impossible feat, but out of nowhere an attack hits him, leaving him bleeding heavily. As he loses his balance, Subai begins to tremble, turning completely pale. Panic hits the chat. What happened to him? Someone screams to call for an ambulance immediately because Subai is clearly in deep trouble. He stops moving, dead silent, slumping down onto his chest. Viewers scream in shock. Has the top player in the world actually just died? Could the number one ranker truly fall? Just like that, Subai fades into darkness. A mysterious voice echoes in the void. Did the intruder really think he could win? Subai is stunned. Who is speaking to him? Did he actually just die? Inside a grand conference hall, a crowd of students listens closely to a lecturer. Speaking, she explains that since the Tower of God descended to Earth 10 years ago, it has completely reshaped their entire world, dragging humanity from the age of technology straight into a brand new era of superpowers. The woman continues to explain that since then, humanity has been thrown into a world crawling with vicious monsters, deadly demons, and countless other dangerous races living side by side. While this new world is incredibly dangerous, it also opens up massive, endless resources for anyone brave enough to take them. Every single floor of the tower holds virtually limitless wealth. So far, human conquerors have cleared 99 floors. Thanks to everything harvested from the tower, human civilization is now advancing at a blistering speed. Even though only 10 years have passed since the end of their old era, their quality of life and technology have skyrocketed to unimaginable levels. The lecturer asks the students if they are ready to enter the Tower of God, and the crowd eagerly shouts in agreement. But Subai, sitting in the auditorium, looks around in complete confusion, wondering where on earth he is. Nearby, a student boasts about getting a S translation crystal to become a combatant. Subai realizes he might actually still be alive, while another classmate expresses how incredibly excited they are to finally step foot inside the legendary Tower of God. Here in the Yang Nation, the requirements to actually enter the tower are incredibly strict. Candidates must be at least 18 years old, and every participant has to undergo rigorous training at the academy first. These students spent 10 years training like hell just to enter the academy. Subai stares in shock. Isn't this the Tower of God game he used to play? The classes, the combat systems, and the transfer crystals. Had he really been transported straight into a game? A parallel world where the legendary tower actually exists. And here only 99 floors have been cleared. Subai smiles. If he is the guy who cleared the 999th floor, then he is going to absolute stun everyone. This is his moment. The master demands absolute silence as the young disciples gather. They must prepare to receive their teleportation crystals. Crushing the crystal is the only way to trigger the transfer. Wishing them luck, the instructor watches them smash the glass. As they fade, Subai tells himself he is ready for this. The tower is waiting, and he plans to clear every single floor. A cold voice chimes in, welcoming the young man to the tower. All personal data is protected as processing begins. It turns out his player profile is already registered in the database. He wonders if he can actually use his old, overpowered account. That would make him completely unstoppable, but then a red warning pops up. An account mismatch, error. The system begins erasing his data. Subai is furious. His ultimate account is just gone. Just like that, the system coldly confirms the wipe is finished. His legendary profile is reset, welcoming him as a complete newbie. Looking around, Subai immediately recognizes this classic beginner zone. This is where rookies buy gear before climbing. But get this, a sudden system notification pings right in front of him. It is a reward for clearing the 999th floor. He just received the supreme artifact, the clock of all things. He stares at the pocket watch, wondering what makes it so special. In this world, every single piece of gear has a strict rank. And this supreme artifact can actually upgrade any item for a small fee. The description is pretty vague, but Subai is just a beginner. He does not even have any decent gear yet. He decides to explore. Wandering the streets, the rich scent of cheap ale leads him to a tavern. He wonders if the tavern owner will still remember his face. Inside, the place is packed. The landlady is loudly discussing the news. That 10% stat boost gives the Yang Nation a massive lead. Countless rookies are easily advancing their classes. Watching them, Subai realizes this is no longer just a simple game. One mistake here means dying in the real world too. Just then his pocket watch vibrates, detecting nearby basic gear. It can target his starter short sword and simple armor. Subai grins, even this absolute white-tier garbage can be enhanced. He can literally transform common starter trash into legendary level items. Except there is a catch, he is completely broke right now. He was broke, dead broke. If he wanted to survive, he had to grind for quick cash. Inside the massive Tower of God, money is absolutely everything. The tower itself stood right along the riverbank. A small village clustered at its base, right on the edge of the city. Now pay attention, fresh players only get a week of protection. Exactly 7 days. If you fail to upgrade your class by then, you get thrown out, gone, expelled forever from the tower without a second thought. Because of this, everyone rushes to level up and grab a class change crystal. Tons of beginners fail here. They get eliminated immediately. Subai slid onto a stool at the bar. He looked at the female manager and offered her some rare cocktail recipes. He casually asked if she was interested in buying. One of them was the legendary Beast Blood Wine. The manager frowned. She told him to stop playing around and slid a fresh piece of paper and a pen over, warning him she would smash his head if he lied. He promised they were completely real. He scribbled the formula down. He demanded exactly 5 gold coins for it, straight cash, absolutely no tricks. She agreed to mix it right then, but if he lied, he was dead. She had no idea he knew even better recipes. 5 minutes later, the drink sat ready on the bar. Her eyes went wide. Was this actually the legendary Beast Blood Wine? It glowed like a deep crimson crystal, absolutely stunning. A guest nearby immediately tried to buy it. Another player offered even more money. The manager yelled at them to shut up right now. This drink was hers and hers alone. Nobody was touching it. She took a quick sip, then down the whole glass. Subai grinned. Asked how it tasted. Wiping her mouth, she demanded to know how many more recipes he had on him. She wanted everything. Subai just smiled. He had 5 of them. Since they were friendly, he offered a huge discount, 20 gold coins for the whole batch. The girl realized this guy was incredibly smooth. Honestly, she was starting to really like him. He grabbed the gold. Perfect deal. This was going wonderfully. This cash would easily fund his next weapon upgrade. The manager insisted on giving him a little extra. She handed him a sharp dagger as a bonus gift. Subai checked it out, quite pleased, and thanked her warmly. Then he stood up. It was time to go. He had other urgent business to handle, but promised to visit her again soon. She told him she would gladly buy any other rare recipes he found. He told her she could absolutely count on him, just for old time's sake. She laughed, calling him a smooth talker. She really liked that. Walking out of the tavern, Subai knew there was 0 time to waste. He had to get moving right now. First priority was upgrading his weapons. It was going to cost a lot. But the power boost was definitely worth it. He needed a class chain. Before his safety week ended, whatever the cost, it was necessary. The coins are spent, but the dagger upgrade succeeded. Subai is satisfied. With these stats, clearing the first floor of the Tower of God will be easy. Filled with determination, our hero heads right in. He makes his way to the Tower of God, starting at the newbie zone right at the bottom. Players are chasing rabbits, desperate to grab any quick loot they can. First blow claims the kill, so tempers are already flaring here. Sabai looks on, wondering why on earth everyone is fighting over a single wild rabbit. It is just a little cutie, how could anyone even hurt it? Our hero knows these wild rabbits yield almost zero experience. You would barely get a copper coin for your trouble. Suddenly, a nearby player warns Sabai to stay back, because the area ahead is totally unprotected. It is highly dangerous, but our hero just turns around to ask, "What kind of danger is that?" Right then, a level 1 flying snake lunges behind him. The player panics, screaming for Sabai to take cover and move out of the way. He needs to fall back immediately before he gets hit. But Sabai casually replies that he is not scared of a tiny flying snake. Whipping out his dagger, the young man instantly slices the monster into tiny pieces. The nearby players are completely stunned. Seriously, what did they just witness? Sabai completely destroyed the monster. The shocked player approaches our hero, demanding to know how he pulled that off against a level 1 flying snake. Sabai casually replies that it was nothing special, taking him only a split second. The guy quickly warns him to stay cautious and avoid heading down that path. One bite from that venomous snake could kill him instantly, given his weak gear. With such terrible starting stats, if you die out here, there is no coming back. Sabai thanks him for the advice and casually tosses a copper coin to the stranger. He advises the worried player that he should probably worry about himself instead. The guy sighs, realizing this newcomer is just plain crazy. He tries to help, but only gets a cold shoulder. With that reckless attitude this guy is, rebellious Sabai will likely end up dead within 5 minutes. Our hero looks around. Just as expected, the crowd thins out significantly once you leave the safe zone. Right then, he spots another threat creeping up on him. With a swift, fluid motion, Sabai drives his blade straight through the snake's head. The monster dissolves, earning him another single coin. Our young hero takes a moment to reflect on how much this place truly feels like the actual Tower of God. But grinding levels at this slow pace is going to be incredibly tedious. He needs to clear out a bunch of monsters and escape the first floor quickly. Suddenly, more flying snakes appear, but he does not mind one bit. The more enemies, the better the practice. Sabai mutters that farming like this is definitely much faster, though the coin drop rate still feels agonizingly slow. He suddenly receives a system alert announcing that the 10th season has officially begun. This means he absolutely has to power level as fast as possible. Armed with the legendary clock of all things, he refuses to fall behind. No way is he letting anyone else snatch the first kill rewards before him. Meanwhile, players everywhere are highly curious about who will claim the very first kill. Word on the street is that the Eastern region's top player has it secured. The three great families, born incredibly wealthy and luckier than anyone. Word is someone spotted the eldest daughter of the prestigious Lin family, wearing a literal legendary outfit. Talk about flexing serious cash. Just one piece of that gear costs tens of thousands, a complete set. Easily tens of millions. On top of that, they hire elite high-ranking players as personal bodyguards. Insane, right? But the glasses guy shrugs. None of their business, they just need to keep farming rabbits. Meanwhile, Sabai keeps slicing through flying snakes, racking up coins. Then an alert. Level up, he finally hit level 2, unlocking a black iron chest. And 2 free stat points. Sabai smiles, it is finally happening. Not only did he grab those crucial stat boosting points right now, but that black iron chest is all his too. He is pretty hyped. Then he spots the leaderboard. It is already live. He did not expect so many players to hit level 2 so fast. Sabai is barely keeping pace, lagging behind because he spent too long staring at that weird watch before logging in. Time to open the chest and see what he scored. He pulls out some basic, low-level armor along with 30 copper coins. Now he has some actual defense, but what should he upgrade first? He needs to make it count. Sabai realizes something crucial. The beginner zone boss does not have a high-level attack. Offensive power is key. Upgrading his weapon is the smartest move. The upgrade finishes instantly. Yielding an elegant dagger, naturally, he decides to max it out. It costs 9 silver coins, but he confirms the action anyway. The process completes successfully. The elegant dagger is now fully maxed. Its tier jumps straight to excellent green quality, even better. It now boosts his attack speed by 10%, Sabai observes. That only the first upgrade scales base stats, later ones just boost raw damage. He twirls the blade, not bad at all. With his base stats, his attack power reaches 100. even though this dagger is technically just a wonderful tier weapon. Its actual stats are fully comparable to a typical rare weapon. That mysterious watch is proving to be an absolute cheat code. Armed with this lethal tool, it is finally time to enter the first floor of the tower. The beginner's zone boss better prepare for a beating. It only spawns 10 times on this very first day of the game. Whoever takes it down earns the ultimate right to progress to the first floor of the tower. Because of this tight limit, only a select few can enter. The player who lands that first kill is guaranteed to make the cut. Subai scans his surroundings. He has made it to the exact location. But suddenly, the sharp clashing of weapons echoes in the distance. Panic kicks in. Did someone actually beat him here? He sprints toward the noise. He has to secure the kill first. Ahead, a group has already engaged the armed monsters. He must hurry. As the goblin horde keeps constantly growing, Subai, from behind a massive rock, wonders how on earth they could afford such insane wealth. Every single piece of their gear is easily at a remarkable tier. He eyes the rare grade full set of armor worn by Yuchen of the Ling family. He realizes his own graceful dagger suddenly looks useless. Yuchen orders her second squad to regroup, commanding the third group to advance while support prepares to distribute potions. Immediately, the third squad leader commands his entire unit to launch their attack. On the goblins, an ally points out they will definitely reach the first floor very soon. Reach the tower first floor, Yuchen warns them. Not to underestimate the Lionbow families, who might have already taken completely different paths. Just then, she catches a suspicious noise nearby and demands to know who is hiding. Is hiding there, Subai calmly steps out to greet them. Yuchen's ally immediately asks which squad this level 2 player is with. Our hero calmly replies that he is participating completely on his own, without any team. Just passing through so they can ignore him. Yuchen is highly skeptical. Her squad has top gear, and yet it took them a full half hour just to clear this forest. Is this guy really acting entirely alone? It makes no sense. Wishing them luck, Subai turns to leave. But Yuchen's ally warns this looks bad. He thinks the stranger is using them as bait to steal the boss. Furious, Yuchen orders her squads to stop using potions and unite. They must stop this parasite from stealing their hard-earned work by any means necessary. She refuses to let anyone snatch this first boss kill from her. Now our hero realizes he has to deal with 2 entire squads of armed men. He sighs. What does he even have to do with their fight? They are busy fighting their own monsters, but the deputy squad leader refuses to let him pass. Lin sneers, pointing out that this absolute stranger is only a level 2 novice. How dare he oppose them? Get rid of him. They absolutely cannot let Miss Yuchen miss out on securing this first boss kill. If they really want to throw down, Subai is more than ready to play along. Arrows rain down on him, but our guy does not even flinch. He easily deflects the first arrow with his upgraded dagger. Crossbow in hand, Yuchen freezes in shock. How did he block that? Her warriors instantly charge forward with flashing weapons prepared to strike, but our protagonist remains completely and utterly unfazed by their charge. He lunges forward, countering their strike with almost blinding speed. One clean slash is all it takes to carve them up. The elite warriors do not even realize they are bleeding out in a matter of seconds. Hearing his warriors scream, the deputy commander panics. This cannot be happening. How could a mere second-level novice completely crush their elite warriors in a single breath? He desperately orders a full retreat. Subai admits they are decent compared to regular low-level rookies. But if they want to defeat him, they have a very long way to go. Subai keeps fighting, landing brutal critical hits to shred their health bars. Zhang Fei frantically orders a retreat. They cannot lose more warriors here. Armed with nothing but a single, simple dagger. Shaking with fear, Zhang Fei snarls that this guy is being way too arrogant. Does he even know who he is messing with? Subai looks back, completely unbothered. He does not care about their threats. If they stand in his way, they die. They are not leaving alive. Zhang Fei grinds his teeth in fury. Lin Yuchen snaps, telling Zhang Fei to shut up. She steps forward, offering a deal. Well, this is getting interesting. Subai asks for her offer. Lin Yuchen studies him. This man is alone, yet his skills are clearly top tier. He is absolutely no ordinary player, but she needs to see him in action first. She looks him in the eye and asks for his price to join them. Zhang Fei is baffled. Why treat a mere solo player with such immense respect? Lin Yuchan quickly silences him again, her expression turning incredibly cold. If they delay conquering the god's tower, will he take the blame? Su Bai lays out his terms, promising to stop attacking their men. But in exchange, they must pay a very specific tax for his protection. They will owe him exactly 1 silver coin for every single player present. He considers this a perfectly fair rate. Zhang Fei practically explodes at the demand. Is this crazy guy seriously living in a fantasy world? Su Bai calmly replies that this is the price of their lives. Do they agree? Lin Yuchan nods and tosses him 3 gold coins, letting him keep the hefty change. She calls it a token of friendship and asks to add him as a contact. Su Bai instantly hits her with another fee. Adding him costs 1 gold coin. She chuckles and throws him another coin, while Zhang Fei continues to seethe in silence. He mutters that Su Bai is exploiting them. Meanwhile, Yuchan makes her next move. She suggests they team up to hunt down the boss of the newbie zone. Su Bai realizes this first boss is incredibly important to her and agrees to help. But he has one condition: he must be the leader of this group. Zhang Fei scoffs, completely disgusted by this guy's sheer delusion of grandeur. They are all elite warriors, personally trained by the prestigious Ling family. Does he actually believe he is worthy of leading them? Su Bai remains completely unmoved. If they want the boss dead, they follow his orders, period. If anyone disagrees, they can leave. He refuses to let anyone slow him down. Zhang Fei warns his commander that this stranger is an absolute wild card. They know absolutely nothing about him, and he cannot be trusted. Lin Yuchan chimes in, moving together is fine, but handing over leadership is out. Hearing this, Su Bai turns on his heel. In that case, forget it. Maybe they will run into each other again in the future. Lin Yuchan stops him, asking if he is really going to walk away from this. She offers to pay him a massive sum of 100 gold pieces. But Su Bai knows the reward for the first clear is worth far more. Wasting his time on cheap gold makes 0 sense. Zhang Fei scoffs at his hubris. This arrogant solo player actually wants to claim the global first kill record for himself. Lin Yuchan can only watch him leave, wondering what makes him so confident. Even she could not guarantee success, let alone some random guy. Meanwhile, Su Bai left. He figured that since he was rich now, it was high time to upgrade his gear. The young man decided to upgrade his basic armor, leaving only the method to choose. He went with the fast option. It cost more, but speed was everything. The young warrior smiled. His health points now officially exceeded 300. Ready to face the boss, he was brimming with confidence. Meanwhile, the tavern hummed with regulars. The local patrons noted that this year's batch of newbies seemed particularly active. Most believed the first boss kill of the zone was coming soon. The tavern manager wondered if the Yan Nation would pull off the first clear this year. One patron pointed out that last year, their own guild held the top record. They had maintained the first clear record all the way up to the 9th floor. But on the final floor, a powerful newcomer from the Bacon Nation overtook them. That absolute beast had a triple S-rank profession. If they got even one double S-rank talent this year, they would be golden. Running past low-level mobs, he hurried. This time he was going to take that first clear. Suddenly, a loud noise startled him. Did someone beat him to it? Right then, he caught a strange scent. It was the unmistakable smell of energy concealment powder, which hides your presence. The trick is this powder only works against standard, low-level monsters. It is completely useless if the monster far outlevels the user. Su Bai realized this was just a cheap, basic version of the powder. There must be some incredibly wealthy players nearby, since this stuff costs millions. Just ahead, a party of players was desperately fighting off a mob. They cleared the path, and luckily, he arrived just in time. Luckily, these players had not reached the boss yet, saving him from a long wait. A whole hour of respawn time would be wasted. A player asked Brother Wang for orders. Should they block him? Wang said it was not worth it. The guy was solo after all. This speaker was Wang Zexi, a powerful noble heir. He came from the Wang family, one of the eastern region's top 3 houses. Beside him was Li Weijian, the proud daughter of the rival Li family. She scoffed. To her, this guy was just another reckless fool. How dare some random solo player even try to steal their family's hunt? The other players watched in disbelief as Su Bai bypassed them, heading for the boss. He ignored the party entirely, drawing a dagger and hurling it at the monster. The blade hit him square in the chest. He roared, rising up. "Meet the Goblin King." Subai braced himself, telling the giant beast to bring it on. A worried player asked Zexi if they should intervene and steal the kill. Zexi scoffed, saying a solo player posed absolutely no threat to them. The boss would crush him instantly. Li Weijin agreed, calling him completely suicidal. The giant club swung down, but our hero managed to dodge it easily. Our hero grinned, noting he came back specifically for this monster. Annoyed by the easy dodge, the Goblin King let out a deafening roar. Subai just taunted the beast, telling him to prepare to die. His screams would change nothing. Then, with a quick flash, our agile hero landed a devastating critical hit, cutting deep into the monster's health. He dodged and leaped aside. With the Goblin King bleeding out, Subai retreated to a safe distance. The boss attacked again, but Subai easily slipped to the side once more. Our hero was ready. He realized this monster was just too slow and predictable to even touch him. He landed another critical hit, knowing all the Goblin King's weak spots. Specifically the chest, lower back, and eyes. Watching this, Liu Jian was utterly stunned. Could this guy really dodge the boss's attacks like that? Wang Zixi muttered that it was simply impossible, while Liu Jian questioned his leader. What was going on here? Where did this newbie learn such insane kiting skills? Plus, every single hit was a critical. That was a technique even pros struggled with. Liu Jian asked Wang Zixi what they should do about him. But Wang Zixi replied that they shouldn't rush into anything just yet. No matter how strong the guy was, he couldn't kill the boss instantly. They just needed to wait, acting like the mantis stalking a cicada. Once the sparrow swooped in from behind and the guy fell, they would strike. Meanwhile, Subai landed yet another heavy critical hit on the boss. He muttered that finishing off this monster would be as easy as chopping vegetables. But the giant monster just kept growling, thrashing around in pure rage. Subai remained completely calm, noting that those desperate screams wouldn't save him. He unleashed another critical strike, forcing the beast to raise its massive arms. It roared louder than ever. Subai paused, wondering if it was calling backup. Suddenly, the surrounding players realized they were completely boxed in. Goblins swarmed from all sides, leaving Wang Zixi utterly baffled. One player shouted that they had literally just cleared the entire zone. Yet here they were, surrounded. Wang Zixi couldn't comprehend this mess. Liu Jian realized what happened. The boss had summoned his own personal guard. Wang Zixi immediately ordered his squad to switch to full offense. They had to break this encirclement, holding their battle formation. Everyone followed Commander Wang Zixi's orders. Li Yujin drew her bow tight. She cursed, realizing these endless goblin waves were all that scoundrel's fault. Wang Zixi ordered them to focus and clear a path forward at all costs. His assistant urged the commander to keep fighting and hang in there. They vowed to get him to the boss, promising him they would succeed. They just needed to hold on a tiny bit longer. Wang Zixi watched the boss's health rapidly deplete, but believed he still had time. Meanwhile, Subai glanced at his rival, seeing right through his desperate plan. Thinking he could just steal the kill at the last second was incredibly naive. Subai spotted a mid-tier scroll in Wang Zixi's hand. The guy was loaded. But it wouldn't save him. Wang Zixi threw the scroll forward anyway. He screamed at everyone to disappear, unleashing a powerful mid-rank magic spell. The devastating fire explosion magic technique instantly activated. Everything at the epicenter completely disintegrated in a massive cloud of smoke. The guild members assumed their leader had pulled it off. Li Yujin cheered. She praised his move, but Wang Zixi felt something was seriously off. Why hadn't a system notification popped up yet? Then the screen flashed. The Goblin King of the Eastern Newbie Village has been defeated by. Subai was ready to keep moving in the same fashion. Li Yujin insisted that simply was not possible. As the smoke cleared, Wang Zixi noticed that the absolute newbie was standing right on top of the defeated Goblin King. Zixi could not help but ask how he had actually defeated the boss all by himself. Subai called them complete fools, asking if they did not even know that. Critical hit stack, he had been targeting weak spots, building up massive damage and finished off the last 5% with one strike. Honestly, he could have defeated the boss when it was still at 20%. Instead, he waited until Wang Zixi had wasted his entire scroll, only then delivering that final, devastating blow. Subai pointed out that Wang Zixi had just thrown thousands of gold coins down the drain. Honestly, that is a painful amount of wasted cash. Subai simply wanted to teach these arrogant nobles a harsh lesson. They were dead wrong to think their money gave them the right to trample on everyone else. Meanwhile, their group would have to wait for the boss to respawn. Just then, a system notification appeared inside the tavern. The Goblin King of the Eastern Newbie Village was defeated by the player. Subai, every single player was utterly stunned. Could there actually be a powerful Su family in the East? One patron wondered, since for the very first time, the server first kill did not go to the top 3 families. Since this mysterious player claimed the monumental achievement, he was clearly no ordinary gamer. Could he actually be some hidden heir of a powerful clan? One girl quickly pulled up the logs, completely stunned. Could it really be Su? How could he have possibly bypassed all the top elite families? A nearby youth suggested it was probably just some common namesake. Meanwhile, Liu Chan and Zhang Fei agreed that was impossible. Liu Chan ordered her elite soldiers to march straight to the designated assembly point before she asked Wang Zixi what their next move should be. He replied they needed to rest, regroup, and prepare to raid the next major boss in an hour. Suddenly, Liu Chan emerged from the portal with her guards and demanded to know if Wang Zixi was really planning to take down the second boss without her direct permission. Meanwhile, the first player in the Eastern Zone to defeat the Goblin King had earned entry to the Tower of God trial and 11 silver chests. The system then announced that Subai had entered the top 100 players on the whole server, awarding him yet another precious silver chest. Our protagonist decided that before entering the tower, he would first crack open his chests to look for some rare loot. He ended up getting a pair of rare swift boots and 10 silver coins from that first silver chest. He also pocketed 10 small experience potions and 38 silver coins. Inside another of the chests, he uncovered high-quality rare boots alongside several useful potions. Subai inspected his new gear and realized they were actually quite good. They increased movement speed, even though the equipment level was still quite low. They even featured some advanced waterproof tech. Following his massive boss victory, the rankings for this season's Tower of God trial were released. Subai quickly checked the leaderboard and found himself sitting in 98th place. Under 2 hours had passed since he had departed the newbie village and slain the Goblin King. The lead players from the other zones finished over an hour ago. Subai used a small experience potion, deciding he really needed to speed up his progress, and ready to grind, he wondered what kind of dungeon lay on the first floor this season. Crossing through the portal, Subai stepped onto the first floor of the legendary Tower of God. Looking around, he quickly realized that the notorious Darkness dungeon was about to begin. These starting zones in the tower are highly unpredictable, packed with loot but scaling up in difficulty. The deeper a challenger goes, the harder the trials become. This Darkness zone is considered medium rank, but it still proves deadly for beginners. Luckily, Subai remembered the route from last time: forward, right, then straight ahead. He felt pretty good about not forgetting the maze, but suddenly, a monster appeared. It materialized right out of thin air, spawning directly from the seal. Looking at the skull and fangs, Subai knew what he was facing. It was a level 3 ghoul, a creature notorious for being tough to take down. He knew these things were incredibly fast and packed a devastating punch. He had to stay sharp and avoid getting completely surrounded by them. Ducking under a swipe, he countered with a massive critical strike, killing it instantly. One shot, one kill. Subai figured as long as they attacked one by one, he was fine. But the dungeon had other plans, spawning another beast right behind him. Subai did not even think of letting his guard down. Triggering his critical strike once more, he obliterated the monster in a single blow. Instantly, the system announced he had reached level 3 and gained 2 attribute points. He smiled, realizing he was leveling up surprisingly fast. Before him lay an open space with 2 distinct pathways marked by stones. These colorful stones indicated rooms of vastly different difficulty levels. The glowing red stone marked the hardest path, and naturally, he went straight for it. After all, a much higher difficulty level always guarantees way better loot. Meanwhile, in the Yan Kingdom, the Chu Dynasty Guild leader received some updates on Junshi. But the guild leader scoffed, noting that early progress meant absolutely nothing. In his eyes, only the one who walks away with the ultimate prize wins. This powerful man was Ju Wan. His assistant smiled, trying to reassure him. He flattered the leader, saying a tiger could never raise a weak pup. Besides, with everything prepared so thoroughly, the crown would surely belong to Junshi. Juwan disagreed, stating a true king must be forged through real fire and water. A title handed over on a silver platter is completely worthless to him. He hoped he wouldn't be let down. Back in the tower, Subai kept moving. Methodically, he sliced through every single monster in his way. Less than half an hour had passed, yet the rewards were already incredible. Looking back, Subai realized he had finally cleared the entire monster room. But before he could even catch his breath, glowing squares materialized. He realized that if a gray square appeared, a secret room had spawned. Finding a secret room was a massive stroke of luck that he didn't expect. But his excitement quickly faded when a massive horde of ghouls materialized inside. Even with this surprise ambush, Subai refused to let panic set in. Activating his unique skill, he immediately leaped forward to strike them down. For 30 long minutes, he fought until every last ghoul lay defeated. Right on cue, the system announced he had officially reached level 4. He claimed 2 more attribute points, satisfied with how fast he was growing. The system confirms he cleared the secret room with a perfect score, just 1. Gold coin is added to his balance. Checking his stats, Subai sees everything is. His stats are completely balanced now. He is finally ready. He checks and confirms that Jujunshi is still reigning supreme at the very top. Nobody has defeated the big guy. Yet, which means the throne is still wide open. Subai heads straight toward the chamber, determined to claim that top rank. He steps into a massive echoing hall and looks around. This is the official boss room on the first floor of the Tower of God. There it stands, waiting in the center of the dark space. The massive beast locks eyes with him, glaring with absolute hatred at the intruder. Sparking electricity crackles across its horns. Subai just offers a casual greeting. He says they meet again, but the boss's minions instantly charge the uninvited guest. Subai tells them to skip the talk. He is on a tight schedule. No time to waste. The weak underlings are instantly obliterated. They never stood a chance. With the path cleared, our hero charges the boss. He yells out that he is finally ready to play with this ugly beast. This level 5 elite boss is a massive minotaur. Subai can tell it is. Just as incredibly tough and dangerous as before, the minotaur stands tall. Raising his weapon with a deafening roar, winged monsters prepare to strike from above. Subai smiles, realizing things are about to get pretty interesting. The minotaur swings a heavy axe, but Subai counters with a quick charge strike. The beast misses completely, burying its heavy blade deep into the stone floor. Subai lunges forward, closing the distance in a split second. He lands a critical hit, burying his dagger deep into the beast's neck, making it scream. The boss howls in pure agony. Subai warns him not to get his hopes up. Numbers mean nothing here, using his unique abilities. Subai unleashes a rapid flurry of dagger, strikes on the boss and minions. The minotaur's body erupts in flames as it wildly lunges at him. Subai realizes the beast is finally activating its special skill. Unfazed, he tells the monster that a brainless bull is always impulsive and completely predictable. He zips right up to its massive face, greets it, and asks if the boss remembers him. Then he lands a devastating, bone-shattering blow and promises to refresh its memory. The minotaur lets out another furious roar. Subai slices through the surrounding winged pests, noting that using them for quick experience is always a great bonus. The system rewards him with extra points. He levels up to level 5. The system awards him 2 new attribute points. Subai immediately activates the one-step boots he bought earlier. The furious minotaur tries to strike, but cannot even track his opponent's speed. The monster flies into an absolute frenzy. Subai immediately recognizes what is happening. The beast has activated its berserker mode. Subai grins. Now the real game begins. The raging minotaur completely loses track of where the player went. Suddenly, the young man appears right behind the beast, casually asking if it was looking for him. Just then, the berserk timer runs out. The buff fades. Subai leaps high into the air, calling out to the beast that he is right here. Bringing down his dagger, he inflicts a massive, deep wound. The minotaur shrieks in pain once more, utterly helpless against him. Like clockwork, the big boss totally wasted his rage mode. Now, he was basically indistinguishable from a regular cow. Subai sighed. This is over. He has 0 time for losers. Then, he lands a massive critical hit. His health completely plummets as the system alerts. The minotaur boss is down. The first floor is officially cleared, granting him passage straight to the second floor. Subai honestly figured that The whole run was pretty quick. Sure, he used to clear things much faster, but resources and experience matter most now. Suddenly, a massive blast echoes. An arrogant young player smirks, proudly praising his father's absolute masterpiece of a weapon. Its raw power is truly incredible, and now he holds the 10,000. Calamity's destruction cannon, time to start the ultimate bombardment. Before he can fire, a system alert flashes. Sabai has secured the first clear of the first floor. Victory goes to the Kingdom of Yan. The gun-toting player freezes. This is impossible. How is this even happening? Nobody clears the first floor in under an hour, so he must be a filthy cheater. Honestly, who can even blame them for suspecting a hacker? A rookie's actually this strong. Where did this beast come from? He is a monster from the Kingdom of Yan. The entire player base is buzzing, and Ju Wan cannot believe his eyes. Who is this mystery player? Meanwhile, his assistant speaks up, pointing out that the young master, Junshi, almost broke the record himself. Ju Wan snaps back, almost doesn't count when you still lose. Still, his assistant points out, there are still 9 whole floors left to run. If young master Junji finishes his translation work first, he still has a chance to catch up and steal that Rookie of the Year title. Ju Wan immediately orders an investigation to find this record breaker, while Lan Yu Chan receives the report and quickly realizes she completely and utterly misjudged that mysterious guy. Sabai knows that golden chests only appear after the first boss kill or during events. As the very first chest of the season, it has to be good. Otherwise, it simply would not live up to its legendary status. Wait, a golden hoe, you have got to be kidding me. He is absolutely thrilled because he knows this powerful tool will be incredibly useful to him. The young man also receives a beginner experience orb to boost his level up. Once the system processes the experience orb, our hero instantly levels up. With his level increased, he decides it is finally time to upgrade all his equipment. He dumps extra gold to bypass the wait time. Instant upgrades are nice. Watching his core stats jump feels incredibly satisfying. Feeling stronger than ever, Sabai pulls out his next destination ticket. The moment is finally here. He prepares to step toward the second floor. He sets a highly ambitious challenge for himself, clearing the first 10 floors in under 24 hours. Landing through the portal, he arrives in the brutal Naka Desert. Currently, his progress bar is sitting at absolute 0. He looks around the endless sand. Floor 2 is going to be wild. Sabai had to clear 10 waves of incoming monsters. To speed things up, he forced them to spawn faster. A level 3 sawtooth lizard appeared, with several more spawning right behind. Far too slow, Sabai watched them lumber forward with a sigh. They were just wasting his time, so he decided to take action. Since these lizards crawled, he grabbed the initiative himself. Charging straight into the pack, Sabai unleashed a relentless, aggressive assault. He struck them hard, carving through their ranks one after another. Within moments, critical hits vaporized the remaining beasts. Sabai smiled, thoroughly pleased with his performance. He finished the fight in under 2 minutes, but more spawned. A massive swarm appeared, prompting Sabai to accelerate his pace. He instantly activated his step forward skill, boosting his speed significantly. Moving like a blur, Sabai aimed to shatter his past records. With those past life records in mind, he entered the second floor boss room. He mockingly invited the wolf-like boss to play, warning it not to die too easily. Sabai decimated the boss, dropping its health bar to 0 in seconds. The system screen flared up, confirming the boss was finally defeated. Clearing the second floor officially granted him access to the third level. Sabai claimed another reward chest, containing a set of perfect lilac gold armor. This rare level 5 armor provided a passive healing effect every 5 seconds. He realized that high-quality gear truly made a massive difference. Its radiant golden glow alone proved it was worth an absolute fortune. Sabai felt slightly out of place, wearing such an incredibly expensive set. Next, he crushed a beginner experience orb to boost his character stats. His level shot up to 7, earning him 2 valuable attribute points. Confident in his rapid progress, he prepared to conquer the third floor. Since his recent upgrades cost a lot, he needed to make money. Gold was running low, so farming coins quickly became his top priority. He stepped onto the third floor, entering a dark, web-filled cavern. A swarm of low-level insects rushed him, but Sabai just laughed them off. He leaped forward to slaughter them, Meanwhile, inside the first-floor boss room, a heavily armed player was busy blasting away with a giant cannon. He bragged that nothing could survive his 10,000 misfortunes destruction cannon. Right on cue, the system announced he had slain the boss Minotaur. With the first floor cleared, the path to the next level opened. The clear took 2 hours and 25 minutes, leaving him completely exhausted. He muttered that he only won because the boss had terrible range. As a reward, Junzai pulled a rare longsword from a chest. He smiled, pretty thrilled to get such high-tier loot so early on. But get this, a sudden global system announcement shocks everyone. Player Subai had just set an unbelievable speed record on the second floor. This historic feat brought massive glory to their nation, leaving Junzai stunned. Had this guy really cleared it already? Barely 29 minutes had passed, making the whole feat seem entirely impossible. He fell to his knees, frustrated, still far too weak. Just who is this Subai? He slashes another monster, calling it speedrun time. Right on cue, the system announces that the player Subai broke the record. He claimed the fastest first clear of the third floor of the Tower of God. His clear time was 25 minutes. Next up is the fourth floor. The fiery desert floor gets wiped clean of every single monster. Once again, the system congratulates Subai for another record-breaking run. He officially secures the fastest first clear of the fourth floor. Clear time is 22 minutes. On the fifth floor, the Misty Swamp boss awaits. Subai defeats the giant beast effortlessly, triggering another system alert. He sets yet another historical record for clearing the fifth floor. The clock stops at 19 minutes, leaving other players completely speechless. Everyone is asking how Subai keeps breaking these records. Is he a genius or some kind of monster? Normal players slow down here. Seriously, can you believe some jealous haters claim he isn't actually strong? They argue that this season's newcomer trials are just too easy. Word is, the guild master's son even brought a 10,000 calamities cannon. Meanwhile, Subai is blazing through without using any epic weapons. Back in the strategy group's headquarters, the elite rookies gather. Pei Lingjai admits he's getting pretty interested in this mysterious guy. Shi Nanshan agrees, pointing out that the boy has no family. He has no past, his background is a blank slate. His school combat grades were average, making Lin Zai wonder about him. Could he have uncovered some incredible hidden cheat inside the tower? Shi Nanshan reminds them that epic weapon drop rates are incredibly low. There are only 10 of those weapons in the entire Yan Kingdom. Lin Zai tells him he's getting way too worked up over this. As one of the kingdom's top 5 assassins, why care about a rookie? Nanshan insists most pros still lack perfect gear. Suddenly, their commander slams his fist on the table, ordering silence. He demands they calm down as Captain Su Kang steps forward. He wants to buy Subai's weapon if the kid can't upgrade it. If Subai actually possesses an S-rank crystal, everything changes for them. They will invite him straight to the strategic trials. Nanshan warns them, caution is necessary. Rookies must always start in the rookie teams. Outstanding rookies climb to the third-tier team, but the captain questions this. He asks if Nanshan knows how terrible their rookie teams have been lately. If Subai actually wins the Rookie King title, what is wrong with promoting him? Su Kang declares his decision is final. Lin Zai turns to Nanshan. She warns him to focus on his own breakthrough within the month. Failing his second transformation means one thing, demotion to the second tier. Meanwhile, Subai takes a moment to check his raw stats. He smiles, every level up awards him 8 random status points. But upgrading his weapon is constantly draining his stamina. Each upgrade now costs about 13 gold coins, and his current budget is pretty much empty. Clearing the 10th floor would yield 500 gold coins, but that is still far away. If he manages to earn the Rookie King title, another 200 coins will be added. The scale of these numbers is terrifying. Where is he supposed to get that much cash? Just as gloom sets in, Subai suddenly remembers a crucial detail. He carefully scrolls back through the messages sent by Lin Yu Chan 6. It is time to start doing business, so Subai offers her some crystals. Selling them well below market value, Lin Yu Chan replies she will take everything he has ate. He gives the wealthy heiress exactly 6 days to raise the necessary funds 9. The sheer power of wealthy players is undeniable as they quickly finalize the transaction. With the deal closed, Subai heads straight to the 6th floor of God's Tower 11. Known as the Wild Oasis, the difficulty of farming here increases exponentially 12. To survive, he acquires the powerful flying dragon crossbow 13. The weapon grants a barrage effect and a 50% boost to attack speed 14. Getting this ranged weapon was perfect timing, but ammo is going to be a problem. With barely any arrows and time running thin, he has to make every shot count. Suddenly surrounded, Subai realizes his targets have conveniently walked right into his trap. Raising his crossbow, he decides these beasts make the perfect test subjects for his toy. This is the perfect chance to test out his new weapon. He fires off a few opening rounds, and the arrows strike with absolute precision. With the first targets down, Subai activates rapid fire. Each bolt finds its mark, wiping out the entire pack in a flurry. The damage output is impressive, but now he has to go retrieve his ammo. Pulling the bolts from the corpses is tedious, but he only has a few shots left. If his memory of the tower layout is correct, the boss should be nearby. He travels north along this specific river, and right on cue, rushing water echoes nearby. He has found the exact spot, carefully stepping out into a wide forest clearing 27. Right in front of a massive waterfall, heavily armed monsters patrol the lake 28. These level 9 aquatic beasts are armed with a deadly harpoon skill. Subai lets loose a volley of bolts to sweep them all up instantly. They die instantly, leaving behind a valuable B-rank class crystal. Scanning the rare drop, Subai messages Lin Yu-chan to see what she will pay. Lin Yu-chan is highly impressed by just how fast this guy works. Without hesitation, she offers him 10 million in cold hard cash. That converts to about 100 gold coins, and the transaction is quickly finalized. With weapon in hand, Subai continues his hunt through the dense oasis. Things were going a bit too smoothly, and then a massive roar shakes the forest. The sound is instantly familiar to him. That is definitely the signature roar of a boss monster. Out steps the formidable elite boss, the Oasis Demon Fish at level 10. The creature is an absolutely grotesque sight, exactly how a real boss should look. Steadying his breath, Subai readies himself to take down this massive target. Before the monster can even raise its trident, he takes dead aim. He lets loose 3 precise shots right into the beast's chest. Refusing to relent, he leaps high into the air, keeping his weapon firing. The boss's body with his crossbow, the beast gathered its strength and hurled. The trident right at him, Subai easily dodged as the weapon flew. Subai noted that this boss was exactly the same as before. With 0 upgrades, now it was time to destroy him once and for all. The boss was defeated, crashing down into the water. The system then announced that the Oasis Demonfish was dead, clearing the 6th floor. The system issued a pass directly to the 7th floor. Subai figured he had spent way too much time dealing with this boss, too slow. Still, he set a new record for the 6th floor and earned the title of Amphibian Hunter. For his reward, he received 5 silver chests. The items inside were pretty average, but they were still better than nothing. Subai spent 10 silver coins on an upgrade and received a pair of excellent gauntlets. Since the stats looked great, he immediately decided to equip the gear. He declared that the 7th floor was waiting for him. As he stepped through the portal toward the next big challenge, Subai decided he would clear the first 10 floors in 20 hours. The King of Newcomers title would definitely be his. Then a message popped up. Player Lin Mengxuan had just obtained the S-Class Berserker profession. Bystanders in the tavern eagerly gossiped about the top players. Could the Lin family dominate this? They had to be related to the invincible sword of Lei. He was the legend farming at level 10 and ranking in the global top 10. That made Lin Mengxuan a massive contender for the King of Newcomers title, one of. The players noted that Subai had already reached the 7th floor. While Lin Mengxuan was still stuck on the 3rd, some girl chimed in that the invincible sword Li must be backing her up. She definitely had some kind of heavy ace up her sleeve, just like Ju Wan passing down a powerful weapon. To his son, this news only made Ju Yongxi angrier. Who was this guy sitting on first place? Because of him, Ju Yongxi had slipped down to 3rd. Ju Yongxi swore that once he reached the 5th floor, he would show everyone who was the real powerhouse. Tower of the Gods, 7th floor, gloomy castle. Subai immediately engaged another target, no mercy. A devastating strike lands. He called it an old ruin. He knew the boss's weak spots on its back perfectly. Meanwhile, 4th floor, the desert of red flame, Lin Mengxuan fought the local monsters. Fiercely gripping her massive two-handed sword tight, her strikes dealt heavy, irreparable damage. She muttered that she wouldn't lose to anyone. Fifth floor. Misty Swamp. Ju Yongxi finally found a shattered shard of the Stone of Destiny, allowing him to change classes. The system suddenly announced that the player had obtained a double S-rank class, Change Crystal. He successfully changed his class to Mechanic. Tower of the Gods, 8th floor. Abyss of Suffering. Subai pushed forward once again, initiating combat with the monsters. He continued moving without slowing down. Meanwhile, the beasts were quickly torn apart. Our main character realized he had only 2 more floors to clear before he was done. 6th floor. Wild Oasis. Lin Mengshuan sighed, complaining that they were taking way too long. Stuck on this floor and needing to speed up, Ju Yongxi kept firing his heavy caliber weapon, confident that he would soon catch up to the leaders. On the tower's 9th floor, the City of Nightmares, he clashed with a massive wave of monsters, complaining that this wretched 9th floor was simply repulsive and they had to clear it fast. Meanwhile, on the tower's 7th floor within the gloomy castle, Lin Mengshuan struck the boss, promising she would absolutely catch up to the leader, Su Bai. On the tower's 10th floor, the platform of nightmares, Su Bai bravely faced the boss alone, the terrifying Hemmer's nightmare. Su Bai whispered that he had finally made it this far. Only this nightmare stood between him and the title of King of Newcomers. Having no interest in chatting with the boss, Su Bai charged into the fight. The monster proved brutal and aggressive, but wielding his blade, Su Bai vowed to completely erase the creature right then and there. The boss roared that the desecrator of dreams would suffer endless punishment. Young Hunter merely smirked. That cheap trick had failed last time too. The beast shrieked in disbelief, claiming the nightmare was absolutely invincible. The system chimed in, congratulating the player on a new record. The 10th floor has been cleared, marking another victory for the players of the Yang Nation. Su Bai recalled that in his past life he had cleared 999 floors, but never earned this title. Finally, his past regret was settled. Having saved up 5 chests, he decided to crack them open all at once, hoping for an epic drop. First, he received the rare white tiger sword, a powerful weapon that Su Bai felt suited him perfectly. Next came a perfect grade lost treasure map, which Su Bai decided was highly useful. Along with that came a rare piece of defensive gear, the energy shield. Opening the next chest revealed a rare stone of radiance. This handy item completely masks his gear's glow, preventing any unwanted tension. Finally, Su Bai pulled a perfect grade item, the fire dragon gloves. While the energy shield seemed quite useless, these new gloves were absolutely magnificent, sporting incredible stats that bordered on epic. He suddenly slammed his fist into the dirt, sending a massive shockwave in all directions. Su Bai grinned, loving how cool the effect looked. Quickly checking his updated character stats, he realized that with this much power, he could easily obliterate anything in his way. Now, he just had 30 silver chests left to open and list on the market. Suddenly, the system broadcasted that Su Bai was the first in Season 10 to clear the 10th floor, officially crowning him as the King of Newcomers. As a reward, he secured a random triple S-rank class Change Crystal. Meanwhile, in the conference room, high-ranking military leaders carefully analyzed footage of Su Bai's battles. Captain Su Kang demanded a complete, detailed dossier on this mysterious player. Paling Zhu was ordered to investigate immediately. Once the rookie left the beginner zone, they had to recruit him before rival squads could interfere. Lin Zhu pointed out that they would need to offer impressive conditions. What exactly could they offer him? Su Kang warned her not to hold back, ordering her to propose their absolute best matches for the 11th squad. Paling Zhu gasped. Did the captain seriously want to invite this newcomer onto the main roster? Su Kang nodded, confirming he wanted him directly on the first team. No way he was dumping a prodigy into some second-string team of absolute losers. Not with a triple S-ranked powerhouse on the team. Nobody would dare dump their dirty work on them now. Su Kang knew that. They simply could not let a genius like him slip away. If they actually secured a triple S-rank warrior, they would become the absolute second strongest force, right behind the main squad, led by invincible Sword Li. Just imagine how their status would skyrocket. Paling Zhu said she understood the order perfectly and would start on it immediately. The captain was spot on. Paling Zhu could not wait to show those loudmouths in the 5th and 6th squads who really ruled this place. Meanwhile, inside Beginner tavern patrons watched the screens in utter disbelief. They noticed that Subai still had not even chosen a class yet. How on earth did he manage those insane results classless? The guy was a monster. Suddenly, the tavern doors slammed open with a violent crash. A lone traveler stepped inside, carrying a massive sack over his shoulder. The crowd was furious. Who had the nerve to barge in like that? Subai ignored them all. Carrying the heavy sack straight toward the tavern landlady, the crowd muttered that he must be suicidal. Sister Dana would surely obliterate him on the spot. She had a brutal reputation for vaporizing anyone who annoyed her. But instead of blasting him, Sister Dana just smirked and remarked that this kid was actually pretty fast on his feet. He casually ordered their finest cocktail, the legendary meteor shower. Sister Dana chuckled, noting it was her signature recipe. The onlookers stared in shock. Who was this guy and why was she letting him slide? He practically broke her door down. Sister Dana just eyed his massive sack, commenting that he must have had a pretty decent haul. Subai smiled. It made sense. She could tell she was beastfolk after all, but Sister Dana shot back that flattery would not get him any discounts. It was 1 gold coin a glass, and she did not do tabs. He did not care, chugging the starful cocktail in a single gulp. Sister Dana teased him, saying he basically swallowed it without tasting a single drop. Subai just stretched and told Sister Dana not to worry. He just wanted a room upstairs because he was exhausted and desperately needed rest. Right then, another guest walked in. The crowd whispered. It was Lin Yu-chan, walking in with her usual guards. She stopped in the center of the tavern, thinking that she was lucky she backed down earlier and did not pick a fight. With him, it could have ended terribly. Bai noticed her and suggested she get straight to inspecting his massive haul. Lin Yu-chan stared at the giant sack, completely stunned by the sheer volume of it. The two of them quickly moved up to a private VIP room. On the second floor, there, Subai dumped the contents of his bag right onto the table. Everyone gasped. Could this really be a spatial storage bag? How many cores had he actually gathered? Her eyes lit up, and she immediately began counting and cataloging every single crystal. After writing everything down, Subai casually mentioned he had another piece. An S-rank crystal. Would Yu-chan take this one too? The girl was stunned. Subai told her she could set her own price. It was an S-rank class change crystal, perfect for a magical scholar. Yu-chan knew she absolutely needed this and eagerly asked him his price. Her question was simple. What did he want for it? Subai replied that everything but the S-rank crystal went by market price. He wanted 10% in cash and the entire remaining balance in gold coins. Additionally, he would provide a list of specific materials he needed to buy. Yu-chan agreed instantly. Acquiring rare materials was her absolute specialty. Subai handed over the sheet, and she immediately ordered her assistant to buy them. With that done, Subai brought up the S-rank crystal again. He wanted to know how much she was really willing to shell out for it. After hesitating for a second, she offered 2 billion in cold hard cash. Subai was completely shocked. Could this piece really be worth that much? She explained S-rank crystals were priceless treasures you could not easily buy. In fact, 2 billion was a total steal for something this rare. On top of 200,000 gold coins, she offered him a mansion. It was located in Lingfeng City inside the tower. The assistants gasped. Normal people could never buy real estate there, no matter their wealth. Since it was the very first city after the tower, this was huge. Subai estimated the villa was worth another 2 billion. She waited for his reaction. The young man agreed. No need to haggle this time. He was fine waiting a week for the payment, which she eagerly accepted. Yu-chan quickly brought out a contract, along with pen and ink. Subai signed his name, sealing the deal right then and there. They shook hands, both highly satisfied with how things turned out. Holding her new crystal, Yu-chan practically beamed with pure joy. Subai asked if they were done. She had one last thing. Everyone knew he cleared a triple S-rank crystal. Would he join her company? She offered him a spot, but Subai wanted to keep his options open. For now, he had absolutely zero plans to change his class. Yu-chan stared in disbelief. Why? Was he not afraid of rivals? Subai brushed it off. He had his own way of handling things. Waving his hand, he told them he was exhausted and needed some rest. Nearby onlookers were stunned. They had never seen Miss Lin act so humble. They whispered, wondering if this random kid was actually the legendary Subai. He cleared 10 floors, so why was he wearing cheap beginner gear? But players soon confirmed it. He really was the 10-floor champion. It made no sense. Why wear beginner trash? He was likely just staying low-key to avoid any unwanted attention. Meanwhile, Dana grumbled. His sudden fame had completely ruined her business. She desperately needed to handle him. Moments later, the manager opened the door. Inside, a young man slept on the sofa with all his clothes still on. Stepping into the room, she figured this was his perfect hiding spot from prying eyes, the tavern. Manager nudged the sleeping boy with her foot, demanding he get up. Right on cue, Sabai rubbed his eyes, wondering how Dana had even found him, but she just leaned in closely and warned him that his little stunt had brought her entire business to a grinding halt. Either he fixed this mess immediately, or she would fix him instead. Without hesitating, Sabai reached into his pockets and pulled out a fistful of gold. He tossed the shiny coins right in front of her, asking if this would settle the entire debt. Dana scooped them up with a grin, confirming this was more than enough. She promised to handle the rest, though Sabai quietly warned her to avoid any bloodshed. She scoffed, claiming she was no maniac, before the young man pivoted to a serious business proposal. Dana stared at him, wondering if he was offering another recipe. Just how many unique drinks did this guy have hidden up his sleeve? But instead of a recipe, Sabai pulled out a glowing crystal to show her. Dana gasped, calling him an absolute monster. How on earth did he extract an triple S rank item? Unbothered, Sabai calmly announced he was ready for the trial of the gods. Dana froze in shock. How did he even know that trial existed? Well, having cleared it over 100 times in his previous life, he practically knew it by heart. He simply brushed her question aside, saying it was irrelevant. All he needed to know was if he qualified. Dana explained that the stone itself was the actual key to the gods. The ultimate prize, a legendary hidden class crystal. She asked if he was truly ready to risk his life for this. Once activated, the stone would disappear forever, leaving him with only one shot. Sabai did not hesitate. He was in. Seeing his determination, she sighed and agreed not to stand in his way anymore. Sabai just smiled, confident that he could survive whatever they threw at him. Dana clenched her hand, instantly crushing the glowing crystal to pieces. She announced that the challenge was officially starting, and the ancient trial flared to life. A massive magic circle began glowing beneath them. She gave him one final warning, but Sabai just teased her for being so protective. Annoyed, Dana gave him a hard shove right into the center of the seal. Instantly, the solid ground beneath his boots completely gave way. He plummeted straight down into a dark, endless abyss, shouting out in annoyance. Dana watched him fall, deeply confused by his strange words and familiar vibe. Meanwhile, Sabai crashed hard onto a massive stone slab, surrounded by boiling lava. Groaning, he sat up and looked around the all-too-familiar divine chamber. Sabai was finally back in his element. Opening his status window, he saw everything was just like his past run. His entire inventory and gear slots were completely locked, and his active buffs were disabled until he conquered the challenge. Brushing himself off, Sabai stood up and marched toward his destination. Looking down at the underground river, he recognized the graves of fallen heroes. They all allegedly passed these trials, which sounds pretty ironic. But that was the harsh reality here. He was seeking the exact same ultimate power that made them legends. He pulled up the system screen, 0 active bonuses, and his inventory was locked tight. At least the golden pickaxe remained. Sabai grabbed it quickly. He knew the grave demons were closing. In fast time to prepare. Luckily, his current stats were higher than they ever were during his previous life. Losing now would be a total joke, and trust me, this arena is brutally small. He couldn't risk falling into the lava. Elite level 10 demons emerged. They crawled from the dark. Sabai saw their numbers multiplying. No time to delay. He had to act right now. The young man struck first. Every single swing hit dead on. The monsters dissolved into the magma, yet his damage felt underwhelming. It was too weak. That meant he had to push even harder. The system kept a meticulous tally. Kill after kill, points racked up. Another demon died. More stat points flooded into his pool. He didn't hold back, immediately unleashing his steel slash technique. He had other options too, like aura wave and piercing strike, both of which drastically raised his overall combat power. Honestly, without these moves, his raw experience never would have been enough to survive this trial. Still, Sabai smiled. he had already gathered 100 points. A recovery phase unlocked. Meanwhile, back at the rowdy tavern, the manager was screaming loudly at her patrons. Nobody goes upstairs. Anyone trying to sneak up gets shot. Dana barked that Subai was gone anyway. His triple S crystal was dust, so searching for that guy is a complete waste of time. The players refused to believe it, but Dana just scoffed, saying she crushed that triple S crystal herself. If they doubted her, they could step right up and let her crush their skulls instead. Over at the guild hall, officers closely examined the official document. Suddenly, a panicked assistant burst in. Disaster had struck the squad. Dana from the tavern had crushed Subai's triple S crystal completely. Those knew she wouldn't lie, since she was an NPC, Captain Su. Kang was in despair. How could the boy lose that crystal? Nan Tin scoffed, reminding everyone that the rookie was never fit for the first squad anyway. It was obvious he was completely useless. Pay. Ling Shui glared, asking why Nan Tin was even there. He smirked. Could it be she actually liked the rookie? The captain growled that now was no time to bicker. Their prized triple S crystal was gone. Ling Shui pointed out she wasn't the one who broke it, as Su Kang ordered the tower locked down immediately, the moment the kid leaves. The newbie zone capture him immediately. Nan Tin scoffed, asking why they bother since they couldn't force him to make another triple S crystal. Su Kang snapped that the kid broke the world speed record. That meant he had some special trick, and within a year he could forge another legendary triple S crystal. Pei Ling Shui just smiled, calling him a true genius, smarter than everyone else combined. Nanshan asked the captain which method to use on the kid, brutal interrogation or intimidation. Su Kai was taken aback. Was Nanshan really some kind of lowlife thug? The captain said he would use gold. He would spend all the money necessary if needed just to extract that special technique out of the boy. It was absolutely vital for the future of their young nation. Trial of the gods. Round 1. Su Bai faced monsters and gave them a taste of his blade. The system announced that the first round was complete. The young man breathed a sigh of relief. It had taken him 10 hours. He understood that this was merely the first round. 9 more lay ahead, and he needed to slay million monsters to reach the triple S rank. So far, only 11,000 had been slain. A mountain of work still lay ahead. The system announced the start of the second round. All stats were fully restored. A wave of demons was attacking. Again, Su Bai knew he could keep going with his health fully recovered. The end of the beginner phase was fast approaching, meaning he had to hurry. Swarms of insect monsters appeared out of nowhere. He worried that if they stung him, he might bleed out. The battle would get ugly, but he had no choice. Su Bai triggered his weapon swap, summoning a basic spiked whip right into his hands. It was a blessing that he could swap weapons and gear here, even if starter equipment was incredibly weak. It was far better than just a blade. Swinging the whip, the boy began clearing the flying beasts with ease. He quickly decided that for this stage the whip was absolutely perfect. These demons are poisonous and fast, but their defense is weak with low health. The aura wave unleashed skill was triggered. Over the course of 12 hours, a total of over 250,000 pests were obliterated. After a short while, the young man finally took a breather. Every single monster was dead. Su Bai swapped his gear once more, a long spear appearing in his grip. He thought he had done exceptionally well. The body count of slain demons matched his intended goal. Su Bai chose to push forward as the recovery process initiated. The third round arrived, restoring all of his stats. Now, a wave of magic goblins was closing in. Su Bai swapped his weapon, summoning a bow into his hands. He realized right away that these magic goblins would strike from afar. Short bow was perfect. He could rain down arrows indiscriminately. The goblins lined up in a scattered formation, preparing for their ranged assault. Su Bai fired back with deadly precision. The monsters tried to flee, but his arrows easily caught up with them. Su Bai noted that in terms of speed, he was always unmatched. Fearing no one, he dodged the goblins' incoming spells, using his teleportation skill. Meanwhile, on the 10th floor of the tower, the nightmare platform was in chaos. Lin Mengxuan was smoothly clearing out the monsters. The system congratulated her for clearing the 10th floor of the tower. The total completion time was 40 hours. She realized she had only secured second place. Because of this, she had several questions for Su Bai. On the 6th day of the rookie Trials downtown, players and townsfolk listened intently to the breaking news. Broadcast, many veterans remarked that history was repeating itself over the last two. Over the years, the city of Yang always started strong, but completely fizzled out by the end. Everyone wondered where Subai had vanished to, while over at the local tavern, Lin Yuchen and her assistant Zhang Fei were happily munching on sweet local pastries. The assistant asked why the lady turned down the invitation from Lin Mengshuan and Zhu Jun. Zhang Fei insisted she should not waste such a massive opportunity just for Subai's sake, arguing that teaming up with them could elevate the East City Lin clan to a whole new level. Yuchen simply asked if Zhang Fei had prepared what she requested. After all, today was their final day. The assistant replied that everything was set. Yuchen smiled, saying she had her own plans once Zhang Fei would never truly understand. Lin Yuchen silently noted that 6 days had already passed. That weird anomaly status popped up right after those rumors of the shattered crystal. This meant Subai was still lingering in the novice zone. What surprise would he reveal this time? Now, the trial of the gods round 7 begins. The monsters advanced, but they were under immense pressure as Subai fired one freezing arrow after another. The young man paid no attention to their defenses. Once frozen, they shattered like fragile glass. Subai noted that it was already the 6th day. Just 3 rounds left. He had to move faster. He reached the 8th round. With stats fully restored, a massive wave of toxic scarabs swarmed in. Battle time. He vowed to finish all these fights before his rookie time expired. The odds were heavily stacked against him, and the young man saw that the monsters were trying to surround him. A useless struggle. 6 hours later, our hero was already clashing with the boss. The young man scoffed that this giant was far too slow. Using a flash of unique skills, Subai sliced the beast in two. The system announced that the player scored 1 million points in this trial of the gods. There were 24 hours left in the trial. Subai smiled, calling 1 million points absolutely magnificent. Only the final level boss remained, and the legendary achievement was in the bag. Get ready, because he's heading to the final battle, demanding the boss come out and fight. This nightmare was the Red Lotus Demon, a level 10 Demon King. The young man stared and recognized the boss immediately. The monster swung its massive weapon, roaring that this human would now be destroyed. Subai leaped aside, thinking this beast was just as troublesome as he remembered, a true Demon King. He realized that with a defense of 2,000 points, he could not deal any damage to this monster at all. He had to wait for the exact moment to break through its defense. The beast lunged, forcing Subai to constantly shift his footing and dodge the blows. He recalled playing this exact boss encounter in his past life. Pulling out the cat's claw item, he aimed to achieve his goal, declaring this run would be far more exciting. Subai stood firm on a massive flying rock while the Demon King flapped his wings, waiting for him. The young man dared the beast to taste some lava. Moving in close to strike, the creature roared that it would tear him to pieces, but our hero was not afraid, closing down the distance rapidly. Subai swore to avenge every player this Red Lotus demon had ever crushed. Subai leaps high into the air, aiming 3 arrows at the beast simultaneously. The arrows hit, and he continues his relentless, all-out assault. If he can just break the monster's defenses, it is over. It will be destroyed instantly, so he switches his weapon. Watch this. Drawing his sword, he presses his attack to finish things off. Suddenly, the system announces he has passed the trial of the gods. He scored over 1 million points, meeting the hidden soul class requirement. All of the requirements are fully met now. Once those points are exchanged, he can claim the hero super class. Subai knows this class is completely insane, far beyond any Wes's rank. In his past life, this class alone allowed him to clear all 999 floors. But he is not going to rush this transition just yet. First, he wants to see if the legend of the Golden Hoe is actually real. Standing at the edge, Subai tosses the tool right off the cliffside. Legend says this thing has the insane ability to duplicate any item. Wait, did it just vanish? No, because the legends are actually completely true. 2 glowing orbs of different colors materialize right before his eyes. The system alerts him he has just obtained a dual class, Hero and Demon King. For a split second, his face splits in two, absolutely terrifying him. Currently, he wears the cloak of all things and fire dragon gloves. Not to mention his crusader armor of purple gold. Subai notices that his base stats have shot up at least 5-fold. His passives double his attack power, and his mana is now completely infinite. This means the legendary heroes can finally rest easy. He will confidently carry on their legacy. Meanwhile, Lin Yu-chan checks her friend list. She finally sees Subai listed there. Suddenly, the tavern floor begins to shake. People in the tavern look around in panic. Is this an earthquake? Or is it just rumbling from upstairs? Dana enters the room to find Subai. She stares at him, asking if he actually managed to pull it off. He nods with a smirk, leaving Dana completely stunned. She cannot believe he actually locked in that exact class. How is this even possible, since those two paths should never exist together? Subai replies he expected nothing less from true absolute power. It is the ultimate combination, after all. The manager gets it instantly. Subai stretches, saying it is time to stop hiding. He wants to see the world now and asks if Dana wants to join. But she quietly declines, saying the outside world is not for her. He smiles and promises he will return whenever he misses the great drinks here. Before he leaves, she tosses a strange token straight into his hands. She tells him to take it as his reward for passing the insane divine trial. Subai catches the item with a grin, calling it an incredibly generous gift for his journey. It is a concealment token, capable of hiding his gear, stats, and appearance. Deep down, Dana simply does not want this guy dying on her too quickly. The tower is packed with powerful factions that absolutely despise the Demon King. If he wanders around completely exposed, enemies will finish him off in no time. As he faded away, Subai shrugged. He knew it all along. Dana really was worried. Subai thanked her before getting kicked out. Next stop, Rome, the first major city after leaving the beginner village. Here, players take on quests, master skills, and use portals. Looking around, Subai muttered that everything here felt incredibly familiar. He took a deep breath. He had finally returned to this place. Suddenly, a group blocked his path. They had found him too quickly. Lin Yu-chan stepped forward. She had finally tracked him down. Why had Subai been offline for so many days? Yu-chan warmly invited him inside their private club to relax. Subai agreed. The Lin family clearly spared absolutely no expense. They opened a massive, luxury clubhouse right in central Rome. Sitting down, Subai told her she could verify the items. He had secured everything. Yu-chan was amazed. The guy worked with absolutely incredible speed. Excluding the 3,000 gold for materials, the rest was hers. The remaining 17,000 gold was right here, she explained. Then she curiously asked what his current class rank was. Subai was surprised. Why did she suddenly need to know that? She quickly clarified she was not trying to steal secrets. The wild rumors were spreading that Subai lost his class, Change Crystal. And honestly, the online hate mobs waste absolutely no time. Subai was stunned. How did they even know it was gone? Yu-chan suspected Dana, the newbie tavern keeper, leaked the news. Word got out that Dana had personally crushed the rare crystal. Subai calmly admitted she was not lying. It was truly gone. Yu-chan was completely shocked. Why was he not furious or even slightly upset? She realized he was a true elite, an exceptional person. That is why he did not care about the lost crystal. If he was this calm, she thought, he probably had another one in reserve. Subai grinned, saying a single triple S crystal was no big deal. He told her to speak plainly. What exactly did she want from him? She wanted him to join her guild so they could hunt high-level bosses together. It made perfect sense. The game was about to get harder. Once you leave the beginner zone, difficulty spikes brutally. Finding allies was normal. He was not against the idea. However, he refused to join her guild. He offered to guide her personally instead. But her team needed 5 high-damage mages. Yu-chan was shocked. Usually, a group of 20 people cleared these floors. Was Subai absolutely sure that the 5 of them could handle the danger? Subai shrugged, telling her she did not have to believe him. Besides, speedrun rewards were smaller than a first boss kill. He was not interested in that. She quickly backtracked. She was just caught off guard and eagerly asked when they could start. She also wanted to put her guild prefix on the group. Subai did not care either way, deciding they would begin tomorrow morning. With things to do today, Zhang Fei's assistant noted that Subai lacked an SSS crystal. Did the lady really believe this rookie could actually lead them to a record? He looked like a total con artist, but Yu-chan pointed out his potential. Even as a rookie, he single-handedly crushed 4 fighters like Zhang Fei. If they had crossed him back then, they would have been stuck forever. They would be trapped in the beginner zone, so she ordered her assistant. Find 4 B-rank mages. Meanwhile, Zhang Fei held a deep personal grudge. He decided to destroy Subai. Soon, the young man headed for the residence. Heading straight for the central gate, a passerby wondered if he wanted death. Had he lived enough, Subai received word that Wusai stood before him. Our hero wondered why this random guy was blocking his path. Wusai warned him that breaking in was impossible, the guards would spear him. But Subai quietly told his companion that he knew the only way. He needed to get strong enough. The guards suddenly warned him instead. The Lord was currently training, leaving Wusai and his friends completely stunned. Had this guy actually managed to enter, the guards led him inside. They escorted him to the training field, where he spotted the captain. Orlando Mullen, a level 180 Earth Mage, was training hard. Standing right next to him was Black Ryan, the level 200 Lord of Rome. Subai knew he was in luck. He had stumbled into a training cutscene. This is the ultimate hack to learn rare skills completely for free. The guard told him to wait. The Lord and Captain were currently sparring. Seizing the moment, our hero decided to study every single skill available. He quickly analyzed their moves, even acquiring the rare Orlando skill. 10 minutes later, the training ended. Subai only learned the basic skills. He had only mastered the starter moves. The guard reported his arrival. The city lord turned. Black Ryan asked our hero to show him his badge. Subai immediately provided the necessary proof. The city lord and the guard captain instantly knelt to greet the hero. Black Ryan never expected a legendary hero to appear after 100 years. Subai was completely stunned. What did he mean by after 100 years? Our hero recalled that in his past life, the Lord said the same thing. Black Ryan explained that by legend, a hero appears every 100 years. This savior is destined to enter the tower and banish the darkness. He will destroy the evil and lead the city to dawn. Why are legends always so vague? Subai suggested leaving the tales behind. He was only here to receive quests. Were there any available? Black Ryan sighed. His pet dog was lost. Could the young man find it? He offered 10 gold coins as a reward. The hero felt insulted. Did the Lord think he was a beggar? The captain stepped in. He offered real battle tasks instead. They would reward valuable skill points. Orlando Mullen agreed that looking for a dog was a complete insult. The Earth Mage suggested gathering 200 skull flowers instead. This quest would reward him with 10 valuable skill points. The Mage suggested gathering 1,000 skull souls. The reward, 10 skill points. Subai thanks the captain for his respect. Lord Rome speaks up next. He remembers a perfect quest for a great swordsman. Black Ryan offers a new quest to investigate an anomaly in the suburbs. Reward, 10 skill points. Subai's eyes widen. This must be Rome's main storyline. It is already the 10th season, and yet not a single player has touched it. People are too obsessed with grinding levels to notice quests are the ultimate shortcut. The Lord of Rome heard that anyone carrying the hero title is unrivaled in combat. He wonders if the young man would do them the honor of a friendly duel. Black Ryan requests a friendly sparring match, and Subai readily accepts the challenge. But first, he asks what exactly this sparring match will involve. Honestly, he has zero interest in fighting this NPC, but the massive reward is too good. There is simply no reason to refuse. Black Ryan thanks him for the opportunity. He even promises to lock his own level and skills to keep things fair. Subai shakes his head. He tells the Lord not to adjust his level. Instead, our hero suggests the guard captain join them as well. Orlando Mullen warns the hero that at level 30, they have many basic techniques. Subai sighs. All this talking is starting to tire him out. Since time is short, he suggests they get this show on the road. The captain and the city lord apologize for their perceived insolence. Spectators whisper that the last time these two teamed up, they crushed a level 200 boss. But for our main character, this is literally just a quick warm-up. The Lord and his captain prepare to test the true extent of the hero's power. Black Ryan lunges forward to strike, but Subai does not even flinch. The Lord's blade cuts empty air. His opponent has suddenly vanished. Instantly, Subai reappears right behind him, casually praising his timing. As the protagonist strikes, Orlando Mullen quickly activates his stone spike skill. It is only a basic earth spell, but the spectators are already losing their minds. What kind of technique is this? How on earth is he moving so fast? His speed is monstrous, truly worthy of a legendary hero. Black Ryan shouts that it is time to show him their real strength. He triggers the Quagmire skill, another low-level ability to slow him down. Black Ryan follows up with a second heavy strike, but the hero remains completely untouched. Subai dodges with ease, letting the Lord's massive shockwave slice harmlessly past. A barrage of lunges and jabs follows, but the protagonist parries every blow. Desperate to hit, the Lord screams he won't lose here, unleashing his third strike. But look, the hero pulls a completely savage and unexpected move. Subai grabs the captain of the guards, holding a sword directly to his throat. Black Ryan freezes in place, completely stunned by the sheer speed. The captain was completely neutralized in under 30 seconds, leaving the Lord wide open. This power truly lives up to the legend. Subai tells the Lord to stop standing around. He tells him to keep attacking, leaving Black Ryan sweating. How could this monster only be level 10? The Lord triggers his flaming sword. Shouting that he will never back down, he dashes forward with a fourth strike. But Subai, just like at the beginning of the fight, simply vanishes. He teleports instantly, appearing behind his foe to unleash a massive sword wave. The skill activates, forcing Black Ryan to the ground to admit defeat. Resting his blade on the City Lord's shoulder, Subai notes he still has much to learn. Black Ryan admits that back in his youth, rumors said the hero had no equal. Back then he never believed it, but now, he knows he was dead wrong. Even with capped levels, the guard captain adds, Subai would have found a way. Down to 50, this hero would have still found a way to completely destroy them. Subai praises their decent skill control, promising to return for another spar when he can. But right now, he has got to focus on getting his actual quests done. Black Ryan replies that they will always welcome a visit from the hero. Subai tells them not to worry about seeing him off before heading out. He practically skips away to start his next big task. The Lord whispers that this young man is truly the one to lead them to dawn. Confused, the guard captain asks what this whole dawn after darkness thing even means. Now Rome is massive, meaning players rely entirely on teleports to get around. With transit useless here, Subai decides to focus on learning some skills first. Boosting his skills first is just safer and way faster for questing. An uppercut launches enemies skyward, setting them up for an endless stabbing combo. Next up, he decides to grab the stone spike skill for extra utility. With these unlocked, he can spam attacks without any breaks. Mowing down groups of monsters is going to look incredibly satisfying. He equips the Clock of All That Is, Fire Dragon Gloves, and Purple Gold Crusader Armor. These stats are insanely overpowered, boosting his skills by 10 whole levels right away. Plus, his hero passive instantly maxes out his mastery. With a crazy setup like this, he feels completely untouchable, wouldn't you? The local guards ask where he is headed, and he mentions the Fallen Lands. The guard warns him that the trip costs 80 copper, and returning is double. Subai quietly sighs, thinking a monthly pass would have saved him a fortune. Suddenly, a brutal wave of motion sickness hits him, making him want to gag. Seriously, if he has to teleport even one more time, he is throwing up. Finally, he steps out and arrives at his destination, the Land of the Fallen. Standing there, he realizes it looks way more vivid and dangerous than the game. A massive sword rests on his shoulder, literally the only gear he did not sell. The game never prepared him for this, but the actual cold here is brutal. He really should have planned ahead and thrown on a few extra layers. Out of nowhere, a horde of hostile monsters suddenly blocks his path. They are basic level 21 skeleton warriors, ready for a fight. Subai grins, eager to finally put his newly acquired skills to the test. He unleashes his unique moves, instantly shattering the skeletons to pieces. As the experience points roll in, he notes that magic is incredibly powerful. Honestly, who can blame him? This is the ultimate dream farming setup. This is way better than starting zones, and his relentless hunt continues. A loud system chime announces he hit level 11, scoring 20 skill points. He remembers how in his past life, 10 points per level was considered overpowered. Meanwhile, bottom-tier F-tier classes barely got a fraction of that amount. Only 1 point each. Did dual classes seriously double his points too? Reaching a new level granted 50 points to all stats. He was stunned. He realized that even a triple S class could not compete with this. The freshly spawned monsters got hit next. Subai figured that if his class did not limit his skills, he should farm quests for skill points. Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed right behind the regular monsters. Protagonist was taken aback. Standing there was a level 48 mini-boss. The fire skull monster. Sabai only smiled. The bigger they are, the better. Stronger the prey, the more fun it was to farm. Another skeleton pack. Got completely vaporized. That is when Skullfire stepped forward, letting out a roar. The mini-boss was desperate for a fight. Sabai wondered, had he finally provoked the boss himself? Well, Sabai had basically infinite mana, so this fiery skeleton was in for a rough time. But then, the sacrifice ritual started. Sabai realized this was bad news. The more skeletons Skullfire consumed, the more lethal his attacks would become. He needed a plan. And fast, before the boss devoured every single mob in the area. Thinking quickly, Sabai unleashed his brand new skills to strike the boss. With relentless force, he mockingly warned his burning opponent that this was only a warm-up, so there was absolutely no need to get so worked up. Best of all, his skills had zero cooldowns. Talk about a completely broken cheat. Repeatedly without a second thought, Skullfire took a devastating direct hit and his flaming skull cracked. Sabai jeered that the boss should have leveled up. Instead of slacking off, just then the system congratulated him on reaching level 12, awarding him 20 skill points. He spotted 2 glowing skull flowers right in front of him. This was exactly what he needed for his next quest. Along with that, he looted a flaming skull sword and a summon undead skill book. He learned the skill instantly, which allowed him to conjure up to 3 powerful skeleton summons. Sabai decided to test this new ability immediately. He summoned them right away and quickly realized something very interesting. Since these skeletons had no fixed level, they would scale directly with him. Their stats made them as tough as level 40 monsters, Sabai figured. They might not excel in one-on-one duels, but in massive wars they would be the perfect meat shield army. It was time to put them to work. He ordered them to harvest the skull flowers, loving the fact that he could just sit back while others did the manual labor. Next, the Swamp of Doom map opened up. Eyeing the fresh monsters, Sabai grinned and declared that he had found another batch of potential pets. He ordered his 3 skeletons to charge the swamp beasts immediately, and they rushed forward to obey. During the clash, a brand new summoned unit, the Spike Skeleton, emerged. Sabai was impressed by its heavy armor plating. Suddenly, the system announced that his Summon Undead skill had reached level 2. Sabai blinked in surprise. What kind of havoc had his skeletons caused? He decided to go investigate the commotion, only to stumble upon a colossal swamp beast. He wondered how many minor monsters were sacrificed on this altar. To summon such a massive monster, ready for action, Sabai charged in with his. These unique skills were earned through hard work. The young warrior fought the creature created by a dark mage through a forbidden ritual. The young hero flared his skill circle, declaring he would put this beast out of its misery, but the monster felt nothing. Sabai admitted it was the first time he had run into such a sturdy tank. Still, persistence finally paid off. The monster took its first heavy hit and started bleeding, letting out a terrible shriek. Immediately, Sabai chained more heavy strikes. The creature's health bar plummeted fast under this absolute onslaught. With one final push, it shattered. Sabai complained that its massive size made the fight drag on way too long. Luckily, the second quest had no timer, so there was no need to rush. Taking his time, Sabai headed toward Western Rome. Street crowds stared, wondering about the random guy hauling a massive sack of literal junk. Without missing a beat, he pawned the entire haul for quick cash. Our protagonist was pretty annoyed. After grinding monsters all through the night, he only got a handful of gold. Breaking records was clearly way more profitable. Every forge nearby only had low-tier blacksmiths, but Sabai wanted to track down a true high-level master. Suddenly, his path was blocked by a few loud players, sneering that Sabai had lost his Triple S job change crystal, yet still had the nerve to show his face. Sabai realized that in this basic gear, only Lin clan members would spot him. With so many people around, he had to bounce. Quickly, he slipped outside the city walls. But a persistent crowd trailed him, pointing fingers and shouting that this was indeed the legendary super rookie himself. The hero insisted he was not Sabai, but a humble merchant named Mr. Su. No one was buying that obvious lie. Then Jin Pengshan, a level 49 player, stepped up, demanding answers about the lost Triple S crystal. Was he going to explain himself? Sabai told them to get a grip. If he lost his own property, why Did he owe them any explanation? The angry players snapped back that everything found in Yang country's starting zone belonged to their nation. As the crowd closed in, he warned them he was in a rush. One of the players ordered the first squad to charge. The second squad flanked him. The third monitored his health bar closely. They thought he could not escape, but Subai saw this as a warm-up. He was honestly surprised. Did they really assemble a massive force just to deal with one guy? Well, it was time to push back. He counterattacked, dropping them instantly. Trust me, they never stood a chance. The survivors gasped. He was taking down level 30 players in one hit. You could not even see a cast animation. His skills activated instantly. Absolute instant cast. Panicking, the squad leader ordered the shield bearers to fall into formation. Subai continued to crush them with his unmatched power. The shield bearers crumpled, their defenses completely shattered into pieces. Sideline spectators realized they were no longer looking at a normal player. He was a living raid boss. No wonder he had broken every record in the rookie zone, prompting the commander to order an aggressive push. Ranged warriors had to strike for real. Subai activated his Stonewall skill, openly mocking their childish attempts. Who even attacks like that? The enemy squad commander was losing his mind. Outright cheating, he cried out, ordering a full retreat. Subai dashed in pursuit, easily blocking their fleeing leader. He placed his blade right on the guy's shoulder, demanding an immediate confession. Who sent you? He demanded, but the attacker swore that no one was behind this. Begging for mercy, he refused to betray his entire family. But he also knew that speaking the truth meant certain death anyway. Desperate, the villain suddenly drew a sharp dagger from behind his back. Aiming the blade at his rival, he declared that they would both be dying today. Subai did what had to be done. One swift slash ended it. Walking away, Subai muttered that he would find his answers sooner or later anyway. He did not need their confession to uncover who was pulling the strings. Just then, a familiar voice made him turn around. It was Ling Yuchen. She looked deeply worried. Behind her, servants held a bound Zhang Fei. Yuchen apologized, presenting the traitor and offering to accept whatever punishment came next. Subai simply asked why this man had wanted him dead in the first place. Furious, Zhang Fei spat back, demanding why Subai deserved their lady's favor. Subai's endless arrogance completely irritated him. Our hero shrugged, telling Yuchen that she should decide the traitor's ultimate fate. The young lady promised to punish him severely. He would face clan law. She apologized once more for all the trouble. Without hesitation, her mages swiftly executed the traitor. Talk about cold-blooded. Even Subai thought her methods were way too extreme. Right on cue, the portal to the 11th floor hummed to life. With everyone gathered, Subai suggested they finally form their party. He knew they were about to face monsters corrupted by alien gods. Yuchen reported that her team consisted of 3 wind mages and 1 fire mage. Every single one of them was a powerful level 20 B-rank fighter. Eager to test them, Subai ordered the recruits to show off their skills. It was an impressive display, but our hero still had one major condition. They might be weaker, but they had to obey. Any sign of insubordination would be dealt with instantly. Yuchen quickly assured him these were the absolute elite from her guild. Onlookers murmured in awe. The Ling Guild clearly meant serious business. Staring at the massive horde on the 11th floor, Yuchen felt a chill. She nervously asked if they should recruit a few more fighters. Subai patiently explained that 11th floor monster numbers scaled directly with party size. How did she not know such basic mechanics? Honestly, going solo would have been way faster, but they needed the record. With preparation time ticking away, the squad braced themselves for what lay ahead. Subai commanded everyone to hold the line as their very first enemy approached. A level 13 wolf devourer, Subai stepped forward to face the beast alone. The first wave attacks head-on, but Subai easily holds them off. He tears through his opponents, racking up points in the standard dungeon. Watching this, Yuchen is stunned, wondering if his skills have absolutely no cooldowns. She finally realizes why everyone fears him. No ordinary mage fights like this. With the monsters completely wiped out, Subai calmly brushes it off as nothing special. To him, there is no real art in such basic combat. But the other mages are thrilled, celebrating their sheer luck today. They secured a ride with a powerhouse. Subai orders everyone to keep moving. No one can lag behind as the squad scales a high cliff to scout. Now watch as they coordinate their next move from above. Every person has a clear role, and Lin Yuchen steps up to shine. She unleashes her abilities, proving she is far more than an ordinary guild member. She truly proves her worth to the Lin Guild. Forming a tight defense, Subai commands Yuchen to summon her mighty Ifrit. Activating her special class skill, she summons the massive creature made of pure fire. Subai tells the squad to stay focused and brace for battle. He decides they will meet the threat head-on without holding back. These level 14 beasts are well within their power to defeat. The squad executes the plan, and everything runs like clockwork. Yuchen's blazing summon shows its absolute dominance in real combat. Subai notes that as the beast slays mobs, its energy builds. It even starts sharing that power, splitting itself into multiple forms. With those copies active, clearing the monsters becomes a total breeze. However, Yuchen warns him that this 8-way split only lasts 10 minutes. Since the cooldown is 30 minutes, she asks what they should do next. Once the clones vanish, holding off the swarming monsters will be impossible. But Subai calmly assures her that the summons will not disappear. Suddenly, the Ifrit is struck down, leaving Yuchen in utter shock. The flames dissipate, and the beast crumbles back into a lifeless stone statue. Subai tells them not to panic, stepping forward to unleash his power. He unleashes his own massive mana pool, leaving Yuchen completely stunned. She realizes he is actually raising the dead, summoning a spectral Ifrit. This undead beast, combined with his magic, deals absolutely devastating damage. The mages realize they really did find the ultimate powerhouse. His triple S-rank potential is undeniable, explaining why their young lady trusted him. Lin Yuchen looks at the timer, realizing they have barely been inside. They spent less than 2 hours in this dungeon. At this rate, they are easily going to shatter the speed record. Meanwhile, in the Wang Guild Council Hall, the leader fumes with rage. With the Lin clan opposing them, a girl quickly tells brother Ji not to worry. With the Li clan by their side, they are safe. The girl adds that this entire scandal might actually work in their favor. This mess might actually be highly beneficial to their plans. Curious, he asks for her plan as she brings up Yuchen's new status. She is now officially the first heiress of the Lin clan. It could easily spread a rumor that Subai, the sinner of Yang country, lost that triple S crystal through a secret deal with the Lin heiress. The leader called the plan brilliant, feeling pretty curious to see how the Lin clan would wriggle out of this trap. He added that Li Weijian was their finest strategist, who would immediately start handing out the necessary orders. They reached the 11th floor of the tower, the date as Snow Plains. Subai points out that once they clear this freezing zone, a cave holding the floor boss lies just ahead. During the clash, the snow monsters unleash wind magic, and a mage warns the lady that it's a massive tornado spell. The girl nods in agreement, and their clearing progress is already sitting at 90%. It really looks like they might smash the record, but Subai warns everyone not to drop their guard. They press onward, but find total chaos waiting at the cave entrance. Shaken players look around in surprise, asking themselves what is going on here. Lin Yushan asks their leader what they should do now. The young man decides that Ifrit will tag along with him, while everyone else stays at the entrance. Since this is the final stretch of the run, he plans to handle the rest completely on his own. Yu Chan is shocked, questioning if Subai really wants to go in alone. One of the mages asks Yu Chan if they really shouldn't try to stop him. Yu Chan tells them to let him go, pointing out that this guy has literally never lost a single battle. Spreading his massive fiery wings, Subai immediately unleashes his combat fist skill. The fire dragon gloves carry a passive skill called Flame Burst, which triggers on impact to cause a magic explosion. As a perfect rank item, the battle fist skill wraps his hands in heavy energy, ready to be unleashed. Its long duration makes it a go-to skill for high-tier fighters. Subai wants to see exactly what his close combat brawling style can do. The flames pack pure magical damage, leaving the watching mage completely stunned. Wait is their top-tier spellcaster, also a close combat brawler. Subai smiles, knowing that combining magic and martial arts is a totally broken combo. Stacking physical strikes with magic damage yields twice the raw power. Clearing out these minor minions is taking too much time, so he needs to close the distance to the boss. For a cleaner clear, he decides to summon his loyal skeleton pets. Proudly calling this crew his guardian army, he orders them to completely block off the cave entrance. A sudden system notification alerts him that his summon undead skill has finally reached level 6. His maximum summon count is now capped at 20. Feeling a surge of power, Subai really enjoys commanding his personal undead army. The spellcasters ask Yu Chan if this is seriously just a standard tower run. It feels like they have stumbled into a massive raid, and Subai is just unbelievably cool. Yu Chan notes that he prefers a direct approach, completely avoiding sneaky tricks. Their next opponent is a massive, hungry level 18 snow bear. Subai actually grins, finally, a real boss to fight. Charging up his combat fist, the hero decides to take the beast head-on in a pure physical duel. Smoothly dodging the bear's heavy claws, he laughs that he's ready to have some real fun. Fortunately, this boss is just as slow and clumsy as any ordinary bear. Because of that, he easily lands a barrage of heavy strikes all over its body. Still, Subai realizes this monster packs serious raw muscle. He needs to wrap this fight up immediately. Otherwise, trading blows with this beast is going to get pretty rough. The giant bear swings at him yet again. But Subai, activating his charge ram skill, Subai decides to wrap things up, no more playing around. He strikes again, a devastating fire fist sends the boss roaring in absolute pain. The giant collapses heavily, its body lies completely still, no signs of life remain. Subai calmly announces victory, it is finally over. They cleared it so fast, but the high-ranking officers are left completely speechless. Did their leader really solo the boss? How is this even possible? Then the system alerts everyone that the 11th floor is cleared. Yuchen can only stare in disbelief. He did not even enter the cave, yet the fight is over. News spreads fast, Subai and his squad are trending. They just shattered the record for clearing the 11th floor of the tower. Over in Rome, ordinary citizens cannot stop talking about this insane feat. How did a classless player like Subai pull this off? It makes no sense. Some think the victory is all thanks to Yuchen. Sure, she is an S-rank mage, but beating a Holy Knight record. That is impossible. The 11th floor is packed with terrifyingly powerful monsters. Only Holy Light classes can breeze through them. Even a top-tier expert like Li Junshe needed 20 hours. At the military headquarters, Captain Su Kang has already sent out a search squad. They need to find him. He is breaking records before they can even trace him. What is his class? Nanshan reports that Intel has finally spotted his location. Subai was seen right outside the city of Rome. Alone, he wiped out an entire squad of level 30 players. Yet, he is not on any rankings. But since he sold a triple S-rank crystal, he must be insanely strong. His true level remains high. Nanshan estimates his raw potential is massive. He is likely at least double S-rank. Contact him immediately. Su Kang orders the squad, then he falls deep into thought. Who is Subai? Honestly, not knowing his class is the scariest part. Could a unique artifact explain this? No, items do not grant this much power. An assistant suddenly bursts into the room, bearing urgent news for the captain. Su Kang reads the brief, his jaw drops, this cannot be true. The files show Subai, leading a team from the Lin Guild, has just cleared the 12th floor in only 3 hours and 2 minutes. That floor is the Abyss of Shadows, ruled by the level 22 boss, Neri. Standing over the corpse, Subai asks his team if they can keep going. Yuchen gasps that his clearing speed is way faster than normal. Subai calmly replies that he can easily replace them if they fall behind. He only needs mages. Standing tall, Lin Yuchen insists she can still fight. The other mages nod quickly. Subai immediately turns toward the next portal. He marches to the 13th floor, telling them to keep up. Yuchen is stunned. He is easily a top-tier beast, even among triple S-rank players. Otherwise, how could he obliterate 2 high-floor bosses in under 10 minutes? Over in the guild meeting room, the leader groans that they are completely doomed. The guy is a pure monster. Now, every elite squad is desperately fighting over him. That triple S-rank rookie, Wang Zizi, noted that Lin Yuchan was incredibly clever since all their prior plans had been her doing, yet Lin Yuchan had no idea what Zizi was even talking about. Annoyed, Zizi demanded to know what that meant for their relationship. That was when Li Yuajin declared childhood engagements were nothing more than a joke. Zizi snapped at Li Yuajin not to forget that setting the trap for him was entirely her idea, but the girl claimed she didn't remember any of it. Meanwhile, Junjai figured this girl was a real actress. Lin Yuchan headed toward the exit, muttering that Zizi had turned out to be useless. On the 13th floor of the tower, the plane of filth, the players continue. Pressing forward, Lin Yu-chan and her mages provide offensive support for the main force, meaning their commander. The level 22 slashing rabbits are incredibly energetic. Right away, Subai realized it was taking way too long to defeat them, since there were now so many of them, so our hero ordered each player to clear out several burrows. Subai activated his fireball skill to flush the beasts out of their burrows. The rabbits rushed for the exits but got wedged tight. Subai remarked that now they had no way of escaping. He promised these monsters he would burn their nests down so they would stop popping out and wasting his precious time. Lin Yu-chan pointed out to their leader that they had already stormed 3 floors in a row. Where did this young man get all his strength from? Soon the group approached a large estate, its gates locked tight even though people were inside. This was Winslet, level 25. Beside the creepy boss and small children, deadly monster hounds roamed around the area. Subai warned that the boss was inside, telling them to wait. Outside, the mages marveled that their squad leader was basically carrying them all. It was magnificent. Subai kicked the gates and told Winslet to prepare for death. Enraged, the beast roared, "Did this human truly dare enter his mansion?" That meant he had signed his own death warrant. Lin Yu-chan warned the mages to stay back. The beast gestured toward his guests, and the hounds pounced on our hero. Subai activated a barrier, and the hounds took heavy damage upon crashing into it. Meanwhile, Winslet continued plotting his vile schemes. An unbearable screech rang out. Lin Yu-chan and the mages covered their ears in agony. The screeching was completely unbearable, but Subai drew his blade and charged straight at the boss. The youth declared this old dog was useless, closing the distance and unleashing a devastating strike. The beast screamed that these insolent intruders would be punished. Lin Yu-chan and the mages kept covering their ears, utterly overwhelmed by the agonizing sonic blast, but our hero simply swung his sword, obliterating the grotesque beasts. He proved that the sonic attacks had absolutely no effect on him, leaving the boss outraged. How could his sound attack be completely useless? Subai lunged forward and obliterated the monster. The young man noted that with this much spirit, this fight was just a warm-up. Lin Yu-chan was stunned. Had they really taken down a boss this quickly once again? Subai suggested they rest and recover for a few hours before they continued on their path. Hearing about the break made Lin Yu-chan incredibly happy. After all, they had been fighting nonstop for almost a full day. Sitting by the fire that evening, the mage muttered they were completely exhausted, but honestly, it was totally worth it. Leveled up and feeling stronger than ever, Yu-chan handed the young man some food and told him to eat. He had not stopped moving for a single second. He was definitely the strongest of them now, but Subai just smiled and said he felt fine. Instead, he decided to test if his mysterious clock could actually upgrade his active skills. Turns out it worked. The only catch was a massive 30-day wait. To bypass the wait, he needed to pay 10,000 gold coins. Instantly, the system pinged with a message congratulating him on a successful upgrade. He now had a rank B sliding ice spear. Still, spending that much gold hurt. But Subai knew high-tier skills did not just fall from the sky. For now, he decided to relax and finally get some actual rest. Since entering this starter zone, he had not eaten a single proper meal. The mages watched him in awe, convinced he was basically triple S rank already. Yet here he was, grinding like a man possessed, eating tasteless energy bars for weeks. All for the sake of those precious stats, and despite his insane power, he still refused to leave the dungeon. Soon, the party stood up, telling their leader they were ready to move on. Yu-chan was completely stunned. Did she miss some motivational speech? Subai just nodded, glad everyone was raring to go. He told the team to pack up, warning them to stick close. They finally reached the 14th floor of the tower, the labyrinth of stone giants, where a massive battle was already waiting for them. A level 24 fire beetle charging right at them, followed by a massive, twisting vine devourer. After clearing them, Yu-chan looked around nervously, asking Subai if they were lost. It was just way too quiet in this section. But Subai promised her he was not the type to get them lost in circles. Right on cue, a massive level 29 double magic golem blocked their path. Subai smiled. It had been ages since he last saw these stone beasts. He wanted to see if their rocky bodies could actually take a hit. Leaping high into the air, Subai swung his heavy mace, triggering his charge ram skill. He knew he was hitting a literal brick wall here. But he slammed his weapon down anyway, quickly dodging backwards to avoid a counter. The heavy blow cracked the golem's head. Instantly, Subai used his teleportation skill to flash behind it, knowing the beast could never block this damage. He had not spent weeks training just to get blocked now. He swung, smashing his weapon directly into the stone structure and blasting a massive hole right through. Blinding light erupted from the gap, overflowing with pure, volatile energy. Watching from behind, Yuchen gasped at the sheer scale of the blast. Subai did not hesitate, pressing his advantage with ruthless efficiency. He bolted straight toward the magic golem's other head, raising his mace high. He slammed it down, eager to test out his newly upgraded ability on this monster. Dodging backward, he told the beast it was time to crumble. Just like that, his little skill test was completely finished. Delivering one final, crushing strike, the left side of the golem exploded. Yet even with half its body destroyed, the remaining head stubbornly kept. Shattered completely, yet that head, despite a gaping hole, just kept going. Is radiating a heavy wave of negative energy, thanks to their fast reactions. The golem finally shatters into tiny, scattered fragments as Subai lands on the ground, and confidently declares the monster is finished. Suddenly, Yuren shouts for him to be careful, warning him that those scattered pieces could easily reassemble into the boss. But Subai calmly replies that will never happen because the large fragments are already sealed under thick ice magic. The nearby mages have never witnessed such an insane combat style. Their relentless leader simply refuses to let the boss recover. On the spot, he freezes every fragment solid. The system immediately congratulates the players for clearing the 14th floor. It announces that Subai, leading the Ling Guild squad, has set a brand new clear record. Ling Yuchen thinks it is magnificent. Subai tells everyone to keep up because only one floor is left, the central avenue of Rome, yet Subai still does not appear. On the class lists, the townspeople wonder if this guy can really keep breaking records at this insane pace. Meanwhile, Wang Zixi and his men arrive. At Central Square, he wonders if Subai is even human, seeing how he has cleared the 14th floor. Suddenly, the system announces that Subai, leading the Ling Guild squad, has set another record on the 15th floor. Standing nearby, Wang Zixi is utterly speechless, muttering that this is way too overpowered. In the tower of the God's 15th floor, Subai says goodbye to the squad, promising they will meet again sometime soon. By this time, the monsters are entirely wiped out. Yuchen asks Subai not to rush off just yet. This time, the Ling clan gained way too much. She wants her father to reward him. Subai is surprised, asking what kind of compensation she is talking about. The girl promises a massive pile of gold, among other things. Subai happily agrees. He adds that if they ever need more speedrun records, they can just call him. He is even willing to give a 20% discount to loyal clients. Yuchen is hooked by the deal. 20% off is highly tempting, so she instantly books the first 30 floors of the tower for her family guild. Subai instantly regrets making such a broad promise, but he intends to keep his word. Yuchen knows she might have to pawn her own assets to gather enough gold, but securing 20 records will put the Ling Guild on the map. Their rise is guaranteed, but Subai adds a quick condition: he only wants Yuchen. The girl is completely taken aback, wondering if he is being too forward. He quickly clarifies that he means their party should only have the two of them, as he wants zero dead weight around. Yuchen agrees, saying she will rely completely on him during their climb and do her best to stay out of his way. She remembers how much they dragged him down on the 14th and 15th floors, making the team leader wait for them constantly. Ultimately, Yuchen gladly accepts the terms. Subai tells her that they will meet in 3 days at the exact same spot. Many quests are currently open to him within the city of Rome. He plans to knock out some of them over the next 3 days. Our hero walks toward the guild board to select a solid quest. Subai picks the most lucrative quest, believing he might as well clear out every single objective that was still available. The gate guard stopped him to ask where he was headed. Subai casually replied that his target was the Western Mine. He already knew the way, so no escort was needed. Soon, he arrived at the designated quest zone, finding a teleportation point right there. He reminded himself of one crucial trick. He had to close his eyes to avoid getting blinded by the teleport flash. Just then, a notification popped up. player Paling Shu had sent a friend request. He stared in disbelief. Was she seriously trying this again? Subai did not hesitate. He instantly rejected her and stepped toward the west mine. Meanwhile, Paling Shu sat in her room, absolutely fuming. This was her 27th rejection from him. Nobody had ever ignored her like this. Then, Lin Shu saw another message. She was officially blacklisted. The girl lost her mind. There was no way she would let him slip away in a massive place like Rome. Over at the West Mine, Subai clashed with a level 38 elite skeleton. The quests to hunt the Dark Swordsman and their leader were officially cleared. Even the revenge quest was done. Honestly, he found the whole thing too easy. Now it was time to raise some minions to do his dirty work. He activated his summoning magic, preparing to move to the snowy plains next. Garatin was freezing, but it made perfect sense to grind there. Every top player was racing to level up. Commanding your own massive army, yeah, that feeling is completely unmatched, but the cold was brutal, making him shiver instantly. The harsh climate was a constant debuff, so he quickly started a campfire. Yet a system alert warned him that the icy wind had struck. His overall movement speed was cut by 10%. He needed to finish up and leave. Suddenly, a level 28 snow monster popped out from behind a hill. Honestly, it looked pretty adorable. But cute looks did not save it. Subai sent his skeletons forward. He had zero hesitation. Then more of them began to swarm. To support his summons, Subai began casting rapid fireballs. Even with his spell upgraded to rank C, the damage felt underwhelming. The magic core had grown, but it still lacked a real punch. If he wanted actual efficiency, he needed to stick to proper tactical spells. He unleashed his ice arrow skill next, forcing the monsters to retreat. It was working. His double chanting technique was finally running smoothly. Maybe next time he could pull off a triple cast. Suddenly, an intense explosion shook the area, blinding him with a sudden flash. What on earth was that? As the light cleared, he saw the aftermath. Both his summons and the snowman were completely wiped out. He instantly recognized the malevolent soul aura. This freezing area hid an old, forgotten experimental base. It felt exactly like his experience back in the swamps of Doom. Since no other player had ever triggered this specific quest line, years of dark energy and angry spirits had built up here. Realizing the danger, he ordered his army to pull back immediately. He was just a newbie who lacked any light skills. The other players nearby were completely baffled by the dark fog, leaving them terrified and fleeing in fear that this deep shadow would consume their souls. 3 days went by inside a private hall of the Lin trading chamber. Before him stood giant tables stacked with crates. Subai decided to try his luck, opening these boxes. Our hero figured the loot was probably just useless junk, without any early game protection. The door suddenly creaked open. Lin Yu-chan peeked inside and offered that her Lin clan could gladly purchase all of this junk. Subai calmly replied they could handle the scrap however they wanted. Yu-chan explained that she brought the gold payment, along with deposits for the next tower floors. Subai admitted their clan had absolute nerves of steel, throwing down a deposit of 50 gold right off the bat. Looking at that massive sum, their family treasury was likely completely empty. He confirmed he got the funds and would gladly meet their clan leader sometime. For now, he told the young lady to rest up and prepare herself, because they would be heading back to the tower very soon. He hoped for a truly decent skill drop, specifically some light-based magic. Right on cue, the system congratulated him for acquiring new powerful skill books, including the Holy Light Shield, Icy Spike, and the active spell called the Sacred Anti-Demon Sphere. He realized if he possessed these 3 days ago, he never would have retreated. At the Gordon base, even back in his past life, he never had such a high-tier setup. Suddenly, the door swung open and he immediately readied his blazing fire fists. The female guest was impressed with such incredible reflexes. Pei Lin Wei noticed he was even more handsome than his photo. She wondered, did this guy seriously not recognize who she was? Meanwhile, Subai observed that this strange girl wore the legendary Dragon Wave Sting assassin gear, instantly revealing her true class as a top swordsman. Pei Lin Wei assumed he finally recognized her. After all, Lin Yu-chan then stepped back in and introduced her as Pei Lin Wei, a member of the National Elite Group. She ranked among the top 100 players globally. Pei Lin Wei was quite shocked by his calm face. Seriously, who stays that calm? Had he Upon seeing her, he casually asked her why she wanted to meet. She stood stunned since she possessed a flawless body, yet this guy barely batted an eye. Pei Lin Wei shrugged and got down to business. Nation's 11th elite team formally invited him. Yu Chan knew the squad consisted of elite, world-class, second-tier pro players. Though the 11th squad was an underdog, to normal people they were still untouchable gods. Subai thanked her for the immense honor but politely turned her down. Pei Lin Wei stood frozen. Why would he decline her? Rookie shouldn't get so cocky. Joining a top team was his only way to secure the best resources and ensure a fast track to peak development. He simply replied that he could easily conquer the dangerous tower by himself without needing help from anyone else. Guidance, Lin Xiu had to admit it. Arguing with him was impossible. He had breezed through the first 15 floors. No struggle, just a casual walk. All alone, no backing. Subai apologized again, adding that he had zero interest in their squad. Lin Xiu warned him that the upper floors of the tower were unlike anything the young man had faced before. No one could survive up there alone. Her 11th team was dead serious about this, hoping Subai would change his mind. The young man replied that it was a possibility. Secretly, our hero remembered how, in his past life, he had conquered the 300th floor without suffering a single loss. In this world, he was only at the 100th. Nothing felt challenging yet. Lin Jai spoke up, asking if he wanted to be a guest assistant, like a freelance expert. Subai simply replied that if they pay, he works. Just like his deal with the Lin clan. Lin Zhu agreed, saying the guy would be non-staff but a contract was mandatory. Still, the elite squad's resources, equipment and people would fully back him. The girl wanted to make sure no other factions snatched him. She just needed to tie him to her first. Then she could figure out the rest. Subai was surprised. Was a contract truly ready so quickly? Talk about desperation. Were they seriously that terrified he would vanish on them? Lin Zhu handed over the paperwork, telling him to sign if everything looked good. The protagonist agreed on one condition. He needed a legendary blacksmith for his gear, along with the squad's help gathering materials. He would pay for it all himself. Lin Jai reassured Subai, saying he wouldn't have to pay a single dime for the blacksmith. Their squad would handle all of it. The girl was relieved he hadn't asked for millions of gold coins. Usually, the team covers these basic expenses anyway. With everything settled, Subai happily signed the contract without another thought. The young man promised to email the full list of materials and gear requirements. Later, Lin Zhu thought her mission was finally accomplished. Leaving the room, Subai mentioned that he and Yu Chan would keep farming dungeons. Lin Jai asked if the guy was planning to break a record on the 16th floor. She just wanted to watch. Subai did not mind. Honestly, the more she saw, now the easier it would be to keep up with him later, Lin Jai thought. The guy was pretty arrogant, but hey, his crazy skills definitely backed it up. Tower of the Gods, 16th floor, the burning volcanic lands. Subai ordered everyone to stick close together. Lin Zhu watched his movements closely, eager to see exactly what the season's new champion could actually do. Suddenly, the local monsters, sensing the intruders step into their territory, launched a fierce attack. But thanks to his rapid, decisive strikes, the beasts were instantly vaporized. These elite insect beasts had incredible defensive power. Lin Xiu gasped, noting that his damage was absolutely insane. Yet this player was only level 20. What class could unleash such power? He activated Chaotic Firestorm, wiping them out. Subai checked the ash, saying it smelled like victory. Yu Chan agreed that the aroma was indeed wonderful. 2 hours later, the crew was happily eating the freshly cooked monster meat. Subai actually found this stuff to be pretty delicious. It was indeed the Narug Fire Crab Lord. The system announced that player Subai, leader of the Ling Guild, broke the record. He cleared the 16th floor. Lin Xia quickly contacted her leader, urging him to look. They had truly hit the jackpot with this one. While Subai and Yuchen climbed higher, wild rumors about their achievements began to spread. Stories of their exploits spread fast. A week later, the entire community was hooked on Subai's latest adventures. They were constantly flooding the chats. You can bet these two were taking over the forums daily. They were absolute beasts. The Ling Guild headquarters was packed with hopeful recruits. Everyone wanted on their squad. The elder ordered the manager to accommodate every single one of these recruits. There was no way they could refuse. Their next quest was the Mad Mage's Diary at Lord Rim's estate. Blackrian questioned if the hero was sure, while the Lord warned him of the incoming consequences. Since he invited the trouble himself, he had to face the music alone. Subai argued that if a war broke out, it becomes a massive threat, affecting every local resident and player in the city. So Subai decided to clear the final local quest first. The Lord countered that if the hero wanted to join the coming battle, he first had to beat Thomas Pete, the deputy captain of the guard. The man was a powerful level 80 summoner. Subai agreed without hesitation, stating he was ready to start right now. He realized the difficulty was twice as high compared to his past life. But even so, this was still much better than facing the Lord himself. Yuchen was thrilled that he accepted a duel against a level 80 master. She refused to miss this fight. Soon, they stood on the estate training grounds. Subai calmly announced that he was ready. Thomas Pete scoffed, asking if a low-level hero really wanted to challenge him. The deputy captain admitted the kid certainly did not lack guts. He wanted to see exactly what the boy could do. Thomas Pete quickly activated his magical amulet and summoned 3 incredibly powerful high-tier beasts. An ice dragon, an undead chatterbox, and a shadow bear spirit appeared. Yuchen watched in absolute awe at the lightning-fast summoning speed. Every single summon was level 80. Subai decided to test out his firestorm. He unleashed the skill, leaving the deputy captain quite surprised. The cast time was terribly long, and the area of effect was limited. Did the rookie make a massive mistake? But Subai knew the real trick was next. Before anyone could react, Thomas Pete suddenly found himself bound in place. Thorns wrapped around him as the captain yelled out that this was impossible. Lord Rim watched closely, realizing the boy was pulling off double elemental casting. The captain retaliated with his ice dragon, freezing the entire battlefield solid. Subai dodged the blast effortlessly, pointing out how useless it really was. Thomas Pete summoned a skeleton to strike, but the hero jumped high above. He easily dodged the attack as Subai launched his piercing strike skill. The skeletal summon of the vice-captain went flying backward, leaving him completely trapped and unable to escape those barbed tentacles. He quickly admitted defeat, prompting Subai to thank his opponent for the match. Thomas Pete bowed and thanked the hero for showing mercy, but Subai insisted it was nothing. Yuchen admitted the entire battle was spectacular. Valkyrian told the vice-captain not to feel discouraged, since losing to a hero is nothing to be ashamed of. Orlando Mullen stared in complete disbelief, noting that the hero had cast a spell without saying any incantation. The guard captain then asked if the young hero would teach him dual elemental casting, triggering a quest known as the Request of Orlando. Request, the system offered a reward of the title, Teacher of Orlando. Subai readily accepted the request of the captain before turning to ask Yuchen if she would accompany them, to which the girl gave a firm nod. The city Lord announced that since the hero had passed his trial, he was ready to assign the final quest stage, which directly concerned every resident in the city. Everyone had to take this seriously. Meanwhile, Black Ryan pointed out that the event would start in 24 hours, meaning they had to rally the players and organize a joint defense, but Subai refused, saying he did not need them. The Lord was stunned. Was this crazy guy seriously planning to guard the south gate alone? Subai confidently assured them he had a solid strategy. Hearing this, the Lord agreed to help stall the oncoming monsters until reinforcements arrived. However, with an active beast invasion, the chaos would inevitably trigger a public event. There was simply no avoiding it. Aside quest Last Revolt of Rome, offering 100 skill points. Subai instantly realized that this reward was twice as generous as the one in his previous life. Over in the main square of Rome, players murmured about this massive, highly dangerous upcoming event, wondering if this monster onslaught was part of the main storyline. One player panicked over being slightly underleveled, wondering if there was still time to grind. Another wondered if level 40 was enough, while others whispered about how Subai was a complete monster to vanish from sight once he cleared the 30th floor. But he was incredibly eager to plunge right back into action, prompting Yuchen to ask why front line forces did not live here, and the young warrior explained that high levels were not always an advantage. After all, the incoming monsters could reach up to level 200. He noted that since the strongest player was only around level 100, the top players of the world physically could not contain this devastating wave entirely by themselves. They had to depend on NPCs, prompting Yuchen to suggest calling in the elite guard squads immediately, but Subai reasoned that if a level 30 beginner stood alone in the south, the monsters guarding that southern gate would barely exceed level 100. Eagerly, Yuchen asked to join the battle, but Subai replied that he had one strict condition. Within the next 24 hours, she had to master instant casting and dual chanting, otherwise she stood zero chance of survival. Yuchen despaired, silently believing that mastering such advanced spells in a single day was completely impossible. Linji chuckled, noting that Subai had somehow provoked a massive beast wave, proving himself a true troublemaker. Palin Zai offered her help, but Subai politely declined. The group realized this mysterious warrior truly had no need for aid, though it was a shame her squad was currently busy preparing to storm the 100th floor. She would have loved to stop by and check out the action, but instead Subai explained to his companion that the real secret of instant and double casting is reading thoughts. A player must compress their casting time to a split second through deep focus. He explains that spells need to become part of your own thoughts, instead of just chanting rigid formulas. Practice is everything, and once she masters this, she can train the guard captain. Yuchen is shocked. Could she really be the one teaching Captain Orlando? Subai wishes her luck before heading off to catch some sleep. Morning comes and the tavern is buzzing with questions. Who is this Wukai? Did Subai recruit him? Word is he plans to stream the Beast Wave defense. The local guard mentions that Subai regularly uploads helpful tutorial videos online. Even the famous Lin Shu liked his post, but the other players are still confused. Why is he defending the southern gate entirely alone? Suddenly Wukai goes live and greets his viewers as the official host. He announces that he is currently standing directly on the south wall of Rome. Today, this entire dangerous southern sector will be held by the rookie Subai. But then the feed abruptly goes black, instant panic in the chat. The beast wave is closing in. Is the streamer dead already? Are they all about to get wiped out? Down at the south gate, Subai says it is time to get to work, as Yuchen warns that the battle has begun. She spots the first target, a level 26 skeleton lizard. Subai instantly unleashes chaotic firestorm. Meanwhile, the stream suddenly flickers back on. Wukai apologizes to everyone, explaining that he tripped and accidentally yanked his own cable. The chat is furious after that near heart attack, but look at Subai. What is he even doing? Lin Yuchen forces herself to stay focused. She summons her fire pets, shouting that her instant cast actually worked. Subai nods in approval before launching another massive chaotic firestorm. Yuchen is amazed by his incredible multi-elemental magic control. He admits that 9 streams is his current limit. The level 28 monsters cannot handle the extreme heat and melt away. Then he casts undead summoning. The viewers are completely losing their minds in the chat. Is this literal necromancy? How can one person summon this many soldiers? It is literally a massive army. Wukai screams that this is impossible, calling Subai a literal god of war. The young man calls for a quick break to prepare for the next wave. Yuchen asks him how much longer this relentless beast onslaught will last. He says it might wrap up in a day, but it could easily go longer. He is just glad he managed to level up his magic beforehand. Those 9 streams of fire would not have cut it. Wukai tells everyone that this massive ocean of fire is holding down the entire southern front. Watching him, Shen resolves to push herself even harder to keep up. Subai says they have to keep pushing with chaotic firestorm and the Ifrit. The monsters coming next are going to be significantly tougher. During the brief lull, Wukai tells the players to grab some food, since they have been fighting all day. Meanwhile, inside the Zhou Dynasty Conference Hall, an aide scouts frantically reported to Lord Zhou that their eastern sector was dangerously short on fighters. Too many high-tier players were flocking to the rival Ling Guild, causing massive processing delays. Zhou cursed viciously at the mention of the protagonist, blaming him for this mess. They blamed absolutely everything on Subai. It was entirely his fault. The guild leader decided they needed to lighten their massive load by contacting rival bosses. Rome's largest guilds had to quickly prepare themselves to accept an absolute flood of new players. Zhou figured that with millions of players active, they had to share the pie. Down in Rome Square, anxious residents were discussing the massive crisis. Were the regular citizens really expected to take the entire brunt of the upcoming monster wave? Thankfully, the massive Zhou dynasty had already made their big announcement. One player declared he was joining them immediately, refusing to align with Sabai. They flat out refused to sink in the exact same boat as a lunatic like Sabai. After all, the Zhou dynasty was actively leading the charge against the beast wave. Other players quickly agreed, saying they wanted absolutely nothing to do with him. Who in their right mind would follow a completely self-assured psychopath like him anyway? Because of this, players began abandoning the Ling Guild in massive waves. Back in the conference room, assistants nervously asked Zhou what if the beasts failed to break through. Zhou scoffed, insisting a breakthrough was inevitable and Sabai could never stop them. One man could not possibly hold back the tide, especially since he was not triple S rank. Meanwhile, Sabai stood ready on the southern section of the fortress wall. He quietly monitored the unfolding chaos. But on his end, everything was going perfectly according to plan. Dozens of skeletons descended to the foot of the wall as Yuchen watched. Sabai quietly admitted that the incoming beast wave was taking much longer than they anticipated. Yuchen wondered if this defense could actually drag on for 5 whole days. Wuchai cried out in absolute disbelief. Could this nightmare wave really last another 5 days? Yuchen smiled, claiming she wouldn't be afraid even if difficulty increased tenfold. Suddenly, Sabai leaped straight up and told her to stay put while he went out. Yuchen panicked, jumping off a massive wall that was suicidal, especially since he was only at level 40. Yet Sabai landed perfectly on the outside ground, leaving Wuchai completely stunned by the impact. Yuchen noticed he didn't even take a single point of damage from that high drop. Drawing his sword, he immediately charged right into a pack of monster wolves. She gasped, wondering if he really planned to set up combat circles. In her eagerness to see, she clung tightly to his back without even realizing it. The stream chat completely agreed that his raw physical strength was just on another level. And now he was drawing something strange. Could he actually set traps too? Onlookers watched in utter shock. Wasn't Sabai supposed to be a mage? How on earth did he possess the incredibly high physical conditioning of a combat cultivator? Even a genius like Li Junji was never this strong at level 40. Once his deadly traps were fully set, Sabai easily scaled back up the high fortress. Wuchai flinched in pure terror, seeing him scale that massive wall like it was nothing. How on earth did he scale the high wall so effortlessly? Sabai announced that everything was ready and they simply needed to hold. It would take turns on watch, and Yuchen insisted that their commander rest first. She volunteered to take the first watch. Sabai agreed, but warned that if any danger arose, she must alert him instantly. Lin Yuchen remarked that the commander's traps were incredibly effective. Wu Chai added that even he was getting pretty scared. The streamer confessed that he was extremely tired and needed some sleep. When she grew exhausted, she could wake him up. Lin Yuchen realized the more she got to know Sabai, the more obvious it became that his true strength had absolutely no limits. 3 days passed. Lin Yuchen warned that they could barely hold back the monstrous wave. Their defensive line had retreated significantly. On top of that, boss-level monsters had appeared. Wu Chai added that with a 5-day forecast. At this brutal intensity, they would never survive until day 5. Meanwhile, Sabai was cooking barbecue on the front lines. Stream viewers were amazed he could eat so calmly in this chaos. Viewers commented that they definitely wanted to join the Zhou dynasty and fight alongside them. Other viewers criticized Sabai's relaxed attitude. The city is in danger and he's just eating on the front lines. One player noted that an incredibly fun show was about to begin. Sabai finished his meal and remarked that it was quite delicious. He told Lin Yuchen to rest now as he would handle everything himself. Lin Yuchen was shocked, but Sabai, armed with twin swords, went straight down to face the monsters. The nearby players and townspeople were absolutely stunned. What was Sabai planning to do? After all, he was a mage. Could his physical body really be that powerful? Wu Chai was utterly shocked. Had their captain really gone alone to face the bosses? Was he ready to fight an entire army of monsters? Sabai swung his twin blades and activated his unique skills, rapidly wiping out every nearby monster. The young man realized he had to pick up the pace. A watching player declared that it was completely clear now. Sabai was both a mage and a fighter, and incredibly strong. An elder watching the live broadcast noted that this young man was exceptionally skilled. Even Li Chensheng, who was ranked first in global power rankings, admitted this spectacle was far more interesting than the 100th floor. With every spectacular strike from Sabai, Li Chensheng kept repeating how magnificent it was. a mage and a warrior combined in one. The elder asked those around him if anyone else was capable of such a feat. He can simultaneously summon dozens of pets, control an entire legion, and constantly replenish his army. Li Qiansheng laughed, admitting even he could not do that. Subai executed a clean uppercut, immediately followed by the sticky step skill. Next came a stab series, sword arcs and rainbow. Another beast was completely vaporized. The elder noted that this young man executed every skill without single hitch. It was a perfect sequence, with every position precise to the millimeter. His overall combat technique and execution were absolutely flawless. Li Gangsheng wondered who the player's mentor was. Pei Lingsu told her grandfather that they had checked everything. The kid had no master. The surrounding youth were shocked. How could anyone possibly master these complex skills without any guidance? The elder was astonished. Could there really be natural-born geniuses who possess innate combat knowledge? He was incredibly eager to meet Subai in person. Meanwhile, the system announced that the player had successfully slain the boss. Subai stood tall, declaring that all bosses, to him, monsters below the 100th floor were mere trash, just bloated in size. He told his undead that from this point forward, they could act on their own initiative. They knew the drill. Subai figured his undead army was already thoroughly battle-hardened, and each skeleton operated with flawless efficiency. Meanwhile, Yu Chan asked the commander how he was feeling. The commander warned her that the true vanguard of this beast wave still awaited them ahead, demanding extreme mental preparation. Yu Chan gasped in sheer disbelief. Was it actually possible that these elite level 80 bosses were not even the main wave? Wu Chai asked in deep panic what the main force would even look like. Meanwhile, the elite squad met. One officer questioned if Subai could actually handle this pressure. The elder noted that there were level 90 elites. The assistant reported that evacuation routes for players in the city had already been fully mapped out. Captain Zhou Wang of the 6th Squad boasted that his talented son had already gathered a massive crowd of players in the inner city. They stood ready to repel any incoming wave in an emergency. Su Kang doubted there was even a single guild in Rome capable of surviving this wave. Zhou Wang boasted that his incredibly talented son already transferred elite players from their 2nd squad. They would easily crush those bosses. Su Kai quietly wondered if, outside of their elite circle, there could really be other powerful experts out there. Zhou Wang had deployed his whole 6th squad there. The elder suspected that Zhou Wang was actively pulling his men outright before the huge 100th floor assault, just to play along with his son. Lin Zhu noted they had gotten completely out of hand, deciding to mess with the 11th squad. But don't worry, the very moment Subai holds off this wave, she plans to expose them. By day 4, Subai and his 10 golden skeletons took the field, slaying 10 elite level 83 bosses. Yu Chen even stopped casting spells herself to merely direct the offensive. Even after all that chaos, the endless beast wave did not stop. By the 5th day, Subai slaughtered over 20 elite bosses. Still, the front line of that massive monstrous tide was slowly creeping right up to the fortress walls. By day 7, Subai had fully cleared his entire area. As the young man returned to the wall, Yu Chen asked if it was finally over. Wu Chai cheered, celebrating, but Subai stared grimly into the far distance, warning them that the true boss was only now preparing to finally emerge. Both Yu Chan and Wu Chai froze as they saw the level 99 Mad Weaver appear. She declared it the strongest lord boss in Rome's entire territory. Thick tension filled the elite squad's meeting room. Back there, everyone assumed Subai stood absolutely no chance of survival now. Zhou Wang smugly thought that even if Subai somehow held the entire tide back once the final boss fell, all that sweet glory would go to his son. Wu Chai warned that the crowd was being pressured to retreat. Apparently, the Zhou Dynasty Guild had already deployed 2nd-tier backup. They claimed those elite fighters could handle this boss, though Subai openly admitted that in a direct brute force duel, he was simply no match for this monster. Yet that did not mean he would lose. Someone else would fight. A sharp warning echoed from the watchtower. The monsters were coming. Suddenly, a massive explosion erupted, shaking the entire battlefield. Subai explained that a single silver cannon could obliterate an elite boss. Peak level 1 profession targets instantly vaporized. Fire dozens of these cannons, and even a mighty lord boss stands zero chance. Relieved spectators whispered that this terrifying onslaught was finally nearing its end. Seeing the local guards join the fray, Subai had clearly planned everything. Nearby, the resistance leader watched the systematic slaughter of the beasts. Yushin stared in disbelief, wondering if the nightmare was truly over. It had been a close call, but Subai ordered everyone to stay alert. A final decisive clash was coming. Yuxian and Wushai froze in absolute shock. Was there really someone out there stronger than a level 99 boss? Just then, Lord Rim and the guard captain arrived at the scene. Live streamers caught their sudden arrival on camera. Lin Yuchen squinted into the distance, asking her commander who they were. It was the dark mage Carmen, a supreme sorcerer of the second profession. Subai frowned, recognizing the true mastermind puller behind this entire wave. Warning them of the threat, Orlando Mullen ordered the young hero to retreat. They could not let him get targeted, but Subai refused to back down. He smirked. The show was at its finale, and he wasn't about to leave. Orlando Mullen quickly explained that this black mage was an absolute monster. Carmen was a fanatical follower of the infamous Legion of Calamity, a chaotic force standing at the peak of his second profession. The guard captain added that only he and the Lord could fight him. Subai openly doubted if the two of them could actually stop him. Orlando Mullen did not sugarcoat the truth. It was a desperate situation. Up ahead, the dark sorcerer laughed, mocking Lord Rim for his arrogance. The mage boasted that devouring the battlefield's souls would grant him godlike power. Once he reached the third tier, the entire city would fall to ruin. Gripping his weapon tightly, Lord Rim roared that he would never allow it. Back in the square, watching citizens began to panic in sheer terror. Why did Subai let this happen? Were they all doomed because of him? They had to run. Orlando Mullen yelled that evacuation portals were already open. Every player in the city needed to leave before the clash began. The escape portals were active, and Subai had to run too. At that moment, Lord Rim lunged forward, engaging the boss in combat. Orlando Mullen realized the wave was a trap to harvest souls for level-ups. The boss wanted to slaughter his own beasts just to grow stronger. Wushai suggested they should retreat since the top-tier players were fighting. Yuchen agreed this high-level battle was far beyond their current strength. They had no business staying. Subai told them anyone was free to leave. Yet nobody abandoned their leader. The squad held their ground, refusing to budge. Subai ordered his mages to assist Lord Rim, who was already struggling. Shrouded in a corrupt black haze, the Lord was rapidly reaching his limit. Meanwhile, the high-level elite squad watched the unfolding chaos with bated breath. They watched the stream. Li Zhengxiang noted that Carmen in his prime was incredibly powerful, but Orlando in black displayed far more classic techniques. Refined and classic, Lin Wei boasted she would level up 30 more times and defeat them. The elder chuckled, remarking that if she was truly that good, she would go challenge them right now. Meanwhile, Carmen simply could not understand what was happening. Why were there no souls? Where could they have gone? Orlando suggested to Black that they should team up and defeat this boss together. Just then, another figure stepped onto the battlefield, offering to answer the monster's question. Subai explained that the boss's ultimate move was the sacrificial circle. Carmen gasped in shock, wondering how this could even happen. How did he miss it? Even the beast was stunned that they dared to lay a trap for him. After all, it was a cluster of tiny sacrificial arrays combined. The creature realized too late his magical abilities were barely boosted. Subai smiled, promising to show everyone how the underdog absolutely dominates. Our hero shouted that it was time to show what Aimset was truly capable of. Subai ordered his level 10 summon to prepare for battle. Carmen screamed in disbelief, refusing to accept this reality. He never saw this coming. Terrified, the boss turned around and fled, screaming as he ran that something was wrong. Carmen realized he had been completely played. Meanwhile, Orlando and Black relentlessly pursued the fleeing enemy. Subai muttered that if he couldn't step in himself, he would send a beast to do it. Let his summon handle the boss. Aimset had already reached level 130. The protagonist noted the beast had achieved its second-class advancement, though its current level was still pretty low. Still, he ordered the creature forward, telling it not to disappoint him. Carmen was instantly targeted. He faced the massive fist of the giant summon. Orlando and Black were thrilled by this turn of events. Carmen took a massive hit to his health. Bar, get ready for this. The giant prepared another devastating slam. Carmen quickly activated a shadow barrier to protect himself. The boss was frozen in place, unable to comprehend why he was completely paralyzed. Even a Lord-level boss should need time to recover, yet Subai moved effortlessly. As if nothing had happened, our hero stretched, saying his fists needed a good warm-up. This opponent was the perfect target to test his skills. Flames engulfed his hands. Subai leaped high into the air, ready to strike alongside aim set. He unleashed his signature heavy step strike with pure force. Watching this, the elder noted that unless the enemy mage had a hidden trump card, those summons would reduce him to dust in less than half an hour. Curious, Lin Zui asked how many of them the elder could handle. Li Zhengxiang admitted that taking on 3 at once would be tough. But in a direct one-on-one fight, he feared absolutely no one. Still, he looked warily at Subai's massive creature with uncertainty. Lin Zhou spoke up, asking if this boss was technically the weakest in level. The elder sighed, reminding them to focus on training their observational skills. Could they really not see what was happening yet? Li Zhengxiang added that on paper, this beast did seem to be the absolute weakest out of the 4, but with Subai calling the shots, the other 3 combined stood absolutely no chance against him. The old man noted that each strike was wrapped in a thick layer of combat energy, flowing without single pause. This energy completely locked down the dark mage, making it impossible to escape. Right then, Lin Yi finally figured out aim set's secret. To his power, she eagerly told her captain they had found a real treasure. Down on the southern edge of the city, the battle raged on. Aim set kept landing heavy strikes, roaring that he was activating the undead. Explosion, hearing those words sent a wave of pure terror through Orlando and Black. Carmen warned that this monster soul could easily drag half the city down with it, but the boss still had no idea why his plan was falling apart. Yu Chan asked Subai what the undead explosion was, and he explained that for it to work, you have to detonate the actual remains. With the battlefield piled high with bodies, if those souls were still around, this blast would have easily wiped out half the city, but Subai noted that this boss did not even realize the souls themselves needed detonating to work. Wu Kai asked if Aimset had not already absorbed those souls. Meanwhile, Carmen still could not understand why his master plan was failing so miserably. He insisted that every detail had been perfect. Just then, the system announced they had successfully defended Rome. Honestly, who would have thought they would pull it off? Subai had carried them through. Yu Chan realized his power was now completely absolute. The system then announced that all defenders would receive 2 levels and 20 skill points. Instant celebration flooded the streets of Rome because they had survived. Subai had truly saved every single one of them. The city lord praised their incredible hero, but Subai heard that strange voice speaking once again. It was Gusky Dan, the Lord of Calamities, calling out to the great child of the Demon King to listen. This immediately unlocked a brand new hidden quest, Child of the Demon King. The city lord asked if something was wrong, while Subai wondered if anyone else could hear the voice. Was it because of his Demon King class? Just like the legendary heroes of light, the dark forces have their own champion, and the quest requirements were insane. Collect 10 million malevolent spirits. Subai was not shocked, especially with crazy fanatics like Carmen running around these days. The stakes were absolutely massive, and Subai knew that a reward this legendary would never be easy to get. Just then, Lin Yi called to congratulate him on the massive victory. She mentioned she was already heading his way to meet him, arriving in about half an hour. She added that the entire elite squad and their elder were coming. Subai was stunned. Was the great Li Jian Shang really coming to meet him? Yu Chan asked if her own clan could be part of this meeting. If it went well, her guild was ready to pay 20,000 gold. Subai thought that absolute fortune was dropping right into his lap. Soon, massive rumors spread through the city that Li Jian Shang himself was visiting the Ling merchants guild. This single visit would push them to the absolute top. More rumors claimed that the guild heiress was already sending out official invitations. In effect, anyone who previously left the guild could return on the same terms, no entry fee required. Subai realized things were moving pretty fast. Lin Ziu spotted him first. He shouted that their hero had finally arrived. Inside the office, Su Kang was incredibly thrilled to see him. Shaking his hand, the captain chuckled that everyone already knew this kid. No introduction needed. Subai realized every heavy hitter from the elite unit was gathered here. Su Kang praised him, a young hero with real backbone. Subai greeted them all before asking who wanted to speak. With him,